Welcome to Archangel Revelations and Prophecies 444. A woman who had got a natal chart with us in our full life purpose analysis. Wants to have her angel card readings done. This is that section. She just gave a question, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to go into the very first question. And that very first question is he her twin soul or twin flame? And just to make sure everybody knows the difference, a soulmate is anybody that came in a soul group that came to this planet. It came from source. Source is always going to be spirit, what we may call God. God comes here through soul. That's your soul group. So anybody can be your soul group. Anybody on that group can be your soulmate. But you can only have one twin flame. From that soul group, they took apart as if they cut it in half. And then you have a soul, twin soul, or soulmate, or twin flame. So again, let me explain that, make it a little easier. If you had a piece of pizza, 7 slices go down, those are all soul group, soul mates, every last one of them. But there's only one person you can have that twin soul. That's that one slice cut in half. The 8th slice, the final slice cut in half. You have your twin souls, yin and yang, positive and negative, male and female, light and darkness. That's your twin soul. So we had to make sure we know that there really is no difference between a twin soul or a twin flame. It's the exact same thing. And then your soulmate can be something totally different. So I hope I explained that. So we're going to ask the question, and she's asking, is he her twin soul or twin flame? I'll be back with their answers. The first 2 cards came together. That can always be an indication of something. And then the 3 cards followed was a little weird to me. I wasn't expecting 5 cards for this question. So the 3 wanted to come, and the 2 came together. All right. First card to answer that question. Compassion is a Gemini, which is the twins. That's Zach Kyle, and he came with another card. And I had a reading of Zach Kyle came out twice for another type of twin flame reading. He came out twice, which was very strange. Because I make sure I really shuffle the deck, so things like that strange to happen. So he comes out again, the first one, but this is what he tells you, because you're Speedy Gonzalez. He tells you, soften your heart with respect to the situation and all the people involved, including yourself. So he's telling you to soften your heart with everybody, including yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself, and don't be so hard on other people. He's telling you to make sure you have compassion. The next card, the King of Zachariah. Whoa. And this is going to be a tough one for you. You get the Indigo and Crystal Child, Metatron. What that means is your twin flame, and they are saying, yes, he is your twin flame, but he is an Indigo or Crystal Child. So he's not going to be like a third dimensional male. He's going to be sensitive. Let me read the card. Indigo and Crystal children. You have a bond with children. In particular, you can help children who are sensitive. So you have to learn how to slow it down, make eye contact, just like your natal chart said. The chart that you said got rushed, but it's not. The chart wasn't rushing, and I wasn't rushing. Just look at your chart, and your first house is filled with all kind of everything. So you're getting hit with a lot. So you're gonna be like Speedy Gonzalez, but you have to take control. Even though your chart may say one thing, it's up to you to take control, work through it, and slow it down. Because he's an indigo crystal, you had to slow it down, make eye contact, make sure he knows that you care, nurture him. You have to slow it down. And you got all the energy and the intelligence to do it. You just have to want to do it. So they're saying, yes, he is your twin soul and he is an indigo. So you have to remember that. And Metatron is a Virgo and Zachariah is Gemini. And I want to thank the Archangels. That's like when you go to a fight, because I didn't know what was going to happen. But I did. I made a special prayer because I know you're Speedy Gonzalez. You're moving way too fast, and I said a prayer for him. And I asked him. I said, make sure you make her a believer. I said because she is questioning the natal chart. She's questioning me, and so I had to give him a prep talk. I said, and she's giving you guys, and she's questioning you guys. I said, make sure when we're done with this reading that she becomes a believer. I'll be right back. I'm gonna put this on pause for a second. See, the reason why I love doing these cards and just working with the angels because they really come through. They really do. And I'll be in certain moods just because of certain situations I'm going through at that time. But these angel cards, they always come through. Alrighty. So now these three wanted to come, which was a shock to me. Give me a second. These next three cards really wanted to come. So here's the next one. Still the same question about is he your twin? Third card pulled. Angel therapy. Give your cares and worries to us angels and allow us to take your burden. So if you are worrying about something, see, there's nothing wrong with being ambitious. Nothing wrong with wanting to get things done with your life. But the worrying and all that's supposed to go to the angels. So it's kind of like if you have an appointment that you have to be at a certain time, and you pull into a parking lot and it's crowded with cars, and you have an appointment to be to. If you're talking to your angels and praying, you can best believe a parking space will open up, even if it's like it's a non-third dimensional thing. But a parking space will definitely open up. You don't know how many times I had pulled into a parking lot that was crowded and commanded a spot, and one opened up and just parked my car. You got to really believe that, but you got to learn how to listen to them when they're talking. Otherwise, what you do, you try to do everything in your own power. And that's what I'm trying to tell you about your natal chart. You ran through everything. You ran through everything, and now you're here. You're here again. They're going to give you another shot at it to do. Now, you might want to even get like a do. This is what you should do. Find like the best Hindu horror astrologer that does the kind of stuff I do, and let him do your natal chart. It's worth it, and see what he says. But that's what I got from it. You just a Speedy Gonzalez, and life is meant to be enjoyed. You got to slow it down a little bit, and you got to experiment. Go through the good and the bad. Because believe me, I don't like going through the bad either. Nobody does. You want to run right. You want to get past people to get on your nerves. You want to get past people you feel like are holding you up. But God will put those blocks in you for a reason. And with your twin, see, your twin is like that. Like my twin is like that. My twin is an indigo, and she wanted that. She wanted all that. But when I met her, I didn't know anything about twin flame. I just wanted to go in, get my money, get out, go in, and get money. I had a ministry, I had all kind of goals I wanted, and I didn't want to do that whole relationship thing. But the universe kind of wanted that to happen. So it kind of slows you down for it, It'll slow you down. So the angels are saying, Raphael and the archangels are saying they will help you, but you have to have angel therapy. Don't worry, take it to the archangels and they'll help you. Next card. Gabriel. Gabriel represents the moon and Cancer. And he says leadership. It is time for you to assume your leadership power and position and lovingly guide others. And he's particularly talking about your indigo. Because you're going to be kind of like the leader of your twin flame relationship. And the reason why I'm saying that, because Gabriel is the same card that says the nurturer card. And it tells you about a child. A lot of times when they're saying child, it can be a real child or children, or it could be your twin. And you got to remember that was the question you asked. So all these answers you're getting are in relationship to the question you asked, which was twin flame or twin soul. So Gabriel is telling you to lead in love. Next card, healthy lifestyle, Raphael again. So only you would know why Raphael is so interested in your health. He says eat a healthful diet, get adequate sleep, and exercise regularly for optimum health, optimal health. So again, maybe you have some type of health thing going on, and somebody does, but you gotta learn how to eat, eat right, sleep right, exercise right, think right, because your thinking is going to play a major role in all of this. And in fact, that's what Gemini is, I believe. Excuse me, Gemini is I think. Gemini is I think. That's his motto, I think. So you have to learn how to change your thinking and communicating as well, because Gemini is communications. All right, so what will make this relationship last? Give me a second. What will make this relationship last? I'll be back with their answers. Now, if you want to save a little money on your worksheet that I'm going to email you, you're going to have past life and karmic debt calculator. All you have to do is type in information. You can get it right off your natal chart. This is totally free, and they'll give you your whole past life report. So all you got to know is how to put the information in. It's not that difficult. We offer it as a service, but if you want to do it for free, you can do it for free. And then you can read your past life report and see if that makes any sense. And also, if not, you should like do what I said about find yourself but make sure it's like a really good Hindu astrologer. You could do it with an American, but I'm just strongly recommending it be Hindu. Kind of like Eastern astrology, something like that. For past life. Well, not just past life, your natal chart. They could do past life too, but your natal chart, because your past life is going to tell you about your past life a little bit. Because it has a lot to do with your present life. That's what I'm trying to tell you. What will make this relationship last? 4 cards pulled. First card, Raguel, who's a Sagittarius, or who corresponds with Sagittarius. Notice your recurring and physical and emotional feelings as they signify divine love. So you're going to have recurring physical and emotional feelings. This is going to help you with your clairsentience. So they're telling you to work on your spiritual gifts, extrasensory perceptive gifts. And they're going to show you divine guidance. What will make this relationship work? Again, what will make this relationship last? Again, they're saying they want to work with you. You have to work with your angels. That's what they're telling you. That's your answer. Second card, Shamuel. Well, Shamuel wouldn't show up if he didn't believe. Shamuel's Mr. Romantic. Shamuel corresponds with Taurus, but the dove shows up, which means you need to learn about the dove, and you need to learn about moon cycles. And again, that is in the description box of this video. The dove and the moon cycles, the esoteric meanings. So Shamuel has the dove, and he's saying peace. Peace comes from remembering that only love is real. What does that mean? Only love is real. He's saying everything we're in is an illusion. And the fact of the matter is you can never really be separated from your twin. You can never be out of love with your twin because the twin is you. But in this illusion called third dimensional reality, or third dimensional living, we should say, you guys may, like, some twins don't get along. They don't even talk. They're scared of each other. They're running from each other. They don't like each other because they've forgotten what they were. They've forgotten the real love they had. So Samuel's trying to say, remember the real love. Because when you remember that real love, nothing's going to come in between it. See, that's the whole beauty. That's the whole beauty of twin soul. In third dimension, we're arguing over stupid things. And we stay separated because we're arguing over really stupid third dimensional stuff. If we could only remember the love we really had, none of this crap would matter. None of this third dimensional bull would matter. You just want to be with your twin. That's all that matters. That's what Samuel's talking about. And the angels are telling you, we'll always be there with you. So the angels are saying we have to humble ourselves and let them in so they can help us. What will make the relationship last? Jophiel. I love Jophiel because she tells it like it is. Jophiel is a Libra. She represents the 7th house of relationships. She's outside in the garden. She's taking it easy. And she's telling you patience. Your dreams are blooming more rapidly than you realize. Still, they need nurturing and patience. Nurturing and patience. Woo, here she is. Hanael is telling you about your moon cycles. And she's got 3 doves around her. Hanael is saying moon cycles. Notice how the moon affects your energy and manifestations and capitalize upon these cycles. So they want you to tap into your esoteric, your gifts. She wants you to tap into your gifts of extrasensory perceptive gifts. And I'll be back in a moment. All right, we're moving on to the next question. All right, so it's good you're asking past life questions, so that's good. Give me one moment. So maybe you are listening, Speedy. That's a good question. All right, so we're gonna handle that. We're not gonna handle that just yet. Cause see, I told you this one was special when I first did it, cause she's really, really smart. But the universe gave her a jammy. They put almost every planet and asteroid in her first house. So I know that's like, whoa. But you have to master your charts. And that's the whole point. Anybody that's coming here, you're here for a reason. We're not on a ball walk. You're not walking up to a palm reader. That's just, you pay them $5 and they read your hand. This is real. This is your life. This is your past life, your present life, and the future. And unfortunately, it's all about twin souls. Because I didn't want this, not now. When I was younger, I wanted that whole thing. I came here. Oh, I'm gonna be married, and I'm gonna have a. And they would say, hey, you're weird for a little kid. Don't know little guys think like that. No little boy thinks about that. I had it all mapped out. I had my white picket fence and everything. I was just waiting. And then I just went through life in third dimensional, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And I said, no, I'm through. And then they wait like 9 years after that, and all of a sudden, here comes this whole twin flame thing. I didn't know what it was. And by the time I found out, it was like too late. Me and her had a terrible relationship, and we still have a terrible relationship. But if you're coming here and I do your natal chart and it's showing a twin, so that's really why you're here. To try to balance out with your twin and move forward with your twin. And that's going to be the most hardest thing you've ever done. Some people may get through it, but it can be the most hardest thing you've ever done in your whole life, in the top 3. So what I'm doing, I'm looking over her questions. And yeah, the whole idea is for solar ascension, you have to meet with your twin. You have to pay your karmic debt from past life. And you and your twin have to become like on the same page. It doesn't have to be totally one, but you have to at least be on the same page. And then that would be solar ascension. Otherwise, it's going to be moon reincarnation, lunar reincarnation. And again, if people don't believe me, just go to YouTube and type in moon reincarnation or moon soul reincarnation and see what happens. And the people that run this country, the people that run the world, the real leaders, they don't want you to know none of this stuff. They lied to you, and they continue to lie to you. All right. Any question that you're asking that really requires in-depth and maybe with your natal, I'm putting towards the end. And then we'll look at those at the end. Does your twin have the same psychic feelings of you as you do of him? We'll be back with their answers. Does her twin have the same psychic feelings of her as she has of him? 3 cards pulled. First card, all is well, is Jeremiah. That's he represents Scorpio or the 8th house, and that is the soul house or twin flame house or twin soul house. He says all is well. Everything is happening exactly as it is supposed to with hidden blessings. You will soon understand. And in the Bible, they call, see, the 8th house is the underworld. Okay, that's Pluto. Pluto rules the 8th house. Now, let me just prove it to you in your Bible. When that angel comes down in Revelation 9 and opens up the bottomless pit, that's the underworld. And if you notice who comes out, that scorpion type king. That's Pluto and Scorpio. Now, to take it deeper, if you really study your Bible, it talks a lot about the well. The well is the woman at the well at the 6th hour, John chapter 4. All these men were meeting a woman at a well and marrying her. And Moses saved his wife at the well. All these people from Abraham, Isaac, probably Jacob, Moses, they all met their woman at the well. That well is the divine womb, because everything comes from the divine womb. Everything returns to the divine womb. They call that the deep in the Bible. It's the deep, it's the sea, it's the well, it's the womb. So when he's saying all is well, he's talking about the underworld, where we all come from. And that's why when people die, what do? You make a womb. You dig a hole in the ground and put them in it. From earth you came, from earth you'll return. It's the womb. And they call it Mother Earth. They call it Mother Earth. So all is well. So he's really giving you a message from Pluto, or from the 8th house. He's telling you everything that's happening is happening for a reason. It's happening as it's supposed to, and you're going to have hidden blessings that you will soon understand. And you're entering the age of understanding. Why? Because when you first heard it, you said how you felt, which was good. I had no problem with it, because I have total confidence in myself. I have total confidence in the angels. So I wasn't upset. I'm more worried about, well, is this person going to get their message? Because that's the whole point why you contacted me. You have a message from your natal chart. And he's telling you the first card, but you got 2 more to answer this question. All is well. And the way I see it, all is equal. Because that's the question you're asking. Does he have psychic feelings like for me like I do towards him? And he's saying all is well. In other words, he's saying yes. Second card, hello from heaven. Now this is Azrael, because you just asked about Capricorn. And Azrael showed up. He's saying hello from heaven. Now, we got to be very, very, let's stop playing games. Let's stop breaking things up. Because religion teaches us that hell is below and it's evil, and the heaven is above. But God says, Isaiah chapter 45, verse 6 to 7, I am good. He says, I create the good. I create the evil. I create the darkness. I create the light. So he's saying I'm sole source. Everything comes from me. Everything returns to me. Just like I just told you. He is the well in the Bible. He is the deep. And that's why if you notice, you got the beast coming out of the deep and out of the sea. And Psalms 104 verses 20 to 28.
Revelation 13 verses 1 to 12, you got the beast coming out of the sea, coming out the deep. John chapter 3 talks about the going back in your mother's womb and being born again, and talking about serpents. And if you read the Gnostics, you see them in the cave with Jesus. Little baby Jesus is in the cave on his mama's lap. And then the beast comes in, all the wild beasts and all the evil creatures coming to see Jesus, the little baby. And all the humans, all the people are scared. And they didn't even know Jesus could talk. And they didn't know he could walk. They thought he was a baby. But then the baby jumped off his mother's lap and walked up to the beast and started petting the beast. And all of them bowed down to Jesus. And if you don't want to accept the Gnostics, let's go back to the New Testament. Okay, all those demonized people will run up to Jesus, calling him Lord. Oh, don't kill us now, Lord. Have mercy, Lord. We know you're the Son of God. So they were all praising God. If you read Psalms, I forget exactly what chapter, but it's either Psalms 145, 146, because those are the praise Psalms, the Psalms that really praise God. Psalms 145, 146, 147, 148, 149, and 150. Those 5 Psalms. But in that Psalms is a psalm where they say all the beasts will praise this Messiah, and all the beasts will bow down to him. And then the scriptures say every knee will bow down. Now, if you still need more proof of God working with good and evil, the book of Job, he tells Satan, Job chapter 1 and 2, he tells Satan, go, test Job, do whatever you want, but don't kill him. Then when you go to Matthew chapter 4, Jesus had just got baptized in chapter 3. Matthew chapter 3, Jesus got baptized. And then as he was going into Matthew chapter 4, the Holy Spirit took Jesus to be tempted of the devil. So when you understand the nature of God, it's in Romans chapter 8 tells you the same thing. Whatever happens to you, good or evil, if you're called to God, it's for your benefit and God's purpose. So when you learn scripture, you begin to realize that God is always in control. If you're with God, and even David said, even if God throws me in the depths of hell, I'm still okay. God will still be with me. And David tells you, I was thrown in the deep and bad things happened to me. Psalm 69. And people were laughing at me because they didn't believe me. That's Psalm chapter 69. Psalms 21. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. So God will throw you into stuff like that. I'm talking about the Bible's God. Now we have a new God that people are using, and they say, oh no, he loves everybody, and that could never happen. So if you have anything bad happening to you, if you have anything dark in your life, we're gonna pray for you, we're gonna get you delivered, we're gonna get you out of there. But sometimes God will put you into stuff like that for whatever reason, because he's always in control. And he did it to Paul at 2 Corinthians chapter 12. He put Paul in paradise, but then Paul started getting buffeted by a messenger of Satan. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 12. And he said, God, save me, deliver me. And God said, no, my grace is sufficient. So in order to really understand you, understand your natal chart, understand why is twin flame so hard, why is this person so evil, why? Because you're going through the same thing Jesus said. Why have you forsaken me? Why? I didn't know it was going to be this tough. I didn't know you were going to leave me. And I don't have the answer. I'm just telling you, it's a reality, it's a fact of life. So what they're trying to tell you right now, you asked about the psychic feelings. The first thing he answered is all is well. So he took you to the 8th house. But then they took you to heaven. They took you down low in the 8th house, and then they took you to heaven. And he said to you, Azrael, Capricorn, because you asked about Capricorn, so they're starting to give you your answer. I didn't read your question yet. We will read it. But they're already answering your question. Hello from heaven. Your loved ones in heaven are doing fine. Let go of worries and feel their loving blessings. In other words, they're telling you Romans chapter 8. Whatever you're going to go through, you're going to go through it. But everything's going to be fine because it's all God's purpose. Well, before we answer your question again, we're going to read the last card pulled. Does my twin have the same psychic feelings as I do of him? And now you have Ariel, who is Aries, who's the first house. And remember, because you had... I'm going to answer a question first. And then I'll get back to that. Because I want to look at it myself. I don't want to just say it. Ariel says, spread your wings. And she says, do not hold back right now. The timing is perfect and you are ready to soar. All right, so you were asking something about Capricorn. So I want to look at that now in your natal chart. So what I'm trying to tell you is anybody that God has purposes for, real purposes, they're going to go through some type of darkness or some type of hell, or they're going to have to experience some type of supernatural stuff. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. So if you're not already aware of that, so that you will be aware of that. But they're also telling you how do you get through it. Trust in the angels, trust in God. Realize that you do have a purpose. So nothing's going to stop you from that purpose. All right, I'm just looking for your chart. You got to give me a second. I'm going to put this on pause. I'll be back. Okay, so you were asking about Capricorn, and we had to talk about that now. Because what you're looking at, they're giving you choices. And I'm sure more is going to come out as we go over this. Because I keep, like, you ask about your twin. But they're trying to explain, because I said that earlier. I said when you have twin flames, a lot of times you have positive, negative. It's polarities, but those polarities have got to come together. And again, if you understand metaphysics, in the beginning there was just darkness. That was the womb. That was the seed. Just like Genesis chapter 1 tells you, that was the divine feminine. And then in John chapter 4, they tell you the woman at the well at the 6th hour, because her number is 6. The divine mother, the divine darkness, her number is 6. At the cross, Luke 23, verse 43 to 46, at the 6th hour, darkness came, and Jesus called that paradise. He said, truly I tell you, today you shall be with me in paradise. That's the divine darkness, the divine womb. And then Paul went into paradise in 2 Corinthians chapter 12. I was taken into paradise. Now I'm using the Authorized King James Version 1611 AD version. Now, what they're showing you, you asked about your twin. Basically, your question is, does my twin soul, the twin flame, have the same second feelings as I do? And then Jeremiah showed up, said all is well, or all is equal. All is balanced, you could kind of say. So they're saying, yeah, but they're showing you darkness and the light because they gave you Capricorn and they said hello from heaven. So we've been trained to think, well, heaven is light, it's God, it's brightness. But then they also give you Capricorn. Because if God created all things and all things came from God, then all things is God. And that's kind of what they're trying to tell you. That it sounds like philosophy, but that's what they're trying to tell you. And then Ariel just says, spread your wings. But then if you spread your wings, remember I said the well is like the balance? The wings is Mayat. And Mayat is the wings from Egypt. And that's all about balance. The scales. And then Mayat, when you understand Mayat, at the end of a person's life, they take that person's soul. And they take that soul. Mayat has the scales. And she has her feather on one scale. They put that person's scale on the other one. And you have Ampu or Anubis, the god of the underworld, standing there. And you have the beast. And if that person's heart is heavier than that feather, Mayat's feather, that person will be fed to the beast. So what they're kind of trying to tell you is you have to learn how to slow down. And you got to realize you're here for a spiritual reason. Not being a New York girl, not being successful and everything. There's going to be a balance they're trying to tell you. Not that success is wrong. That's not what they're saying. But you have a balance, and you got to, if you've been listening to my videos, like, people have to understand your twin soul has got to be important. It can't just be just somebody, well, they're part of my life, but I have other things I want to do in my life. No, your twin soul has to be a major part of your life. And in my playlist, Truth About Twin Flames, that's what Angelica had to learn. She had to finally learn and tell her twin that I'm available. Okay, I do have a daughter and I do have a job, but I am available to you. Like, I'm not going to be putting a whole lot of stuff in front of you. So this twin soul is a sacred commitment, and it's very deep. And that's why he's telling you to well. Because that twin soul comes out of the divine womb. It comes directly from the mother and the son. It comes directly from the light and the darkness. Now, in the tarot card, Capricorn is the devil. Number 15, tarot card. So what I'm trying to show you is you're seeing the light and the darkness, the balancing of the light and the darkness, and that's what they're showing you. Because you asked about it on your natal chart, and it was funny because I had to actually go to find the video. I looked through all the emails. I don't know why. I don't know if your chart. I don't know what happened with that. But I had to actually go back to the video and copy it off the video. So now I have it because I couldn't find it anywhere else. So your first house is Aries, which is why Ariel showed up. Spread your wings. You got your ascendant there. You got Uranus, which means Uranus can mean something sudden happens, or it can mean an independent free spirit. You got Mercury there, which is telling you have to communicate. And then you got Neptune, because Neptune's going to tell you in your dreams and your subconscious a lot of messages. And you have Saturn, because Saturn is like the judge. He's the law keeper. He wants to make sure everything is done according to universal law. And he will take you through Saturn lessons. So will Pluto. Then you also have Venus in your first house, which is all about the love. And it looks like you also have the sun in your first house. So in my opinion, from what I'm seeing, they're giving you a choice. You have to choose between doing it spiritual in this life or doing it let me just make sure, because I'm looking for your retrograde. See, the feminine aspect of a twin soul union is just a side that wants to be loved, wants to be cherished. And that's why your feminine aspect is retrograde, because it didn't feel loved or cherished. And you see she's right there with Juno because she's telling on you. And Pluto's there. And then they're telling Virgo to heal it. They heal it. And then they got the moon, because when you deal with the moon, you're dealing with moon, like I told you, reincarnation. So the main thing you have to do, because like I said, it's not that you were a bad person. It's just that you was the Energizer Bunny. You was just going. And you're still that way now. You're just speeding through everything. So you have to learn how to slow down. And when you're twin, you got to take that seriously. That's why you got a lot of 22s on your chart. You got a lot of 44s. All that stuff is twin flame. You see the number 2. And why is the number 2 with Jupiter? Because that's your past life money. See, your Jupiter retrograde is not karma. It's saying you have money from a past life that's due you because you're a twin soul. But you got to go through this court case. And that's the proceeding right now. But you don't have a lot of retrograde, so it's not like you have a lot of bad karma. You don't. But you have to make sure. And the feminine side does not necessarily mean the female. It's just the feminine aspect. Because the man might need love. There's some men that love hugs and love affection, believe it or not, even though they want you to believe that they don't. So if you're like, oh, hey, see, a lot of women just tend to treat their man like, well, he's a man, he can deal with it. He's not supposed to be emotional. And they really believe that because they've been told that. But they are emotional and they do care. And that's one of the reasons why you get cheated on. Because you believe he doesn't need affection and stuff like that. So he goes somewhere else, and a bimbo, that's all she gives him. Eye contact. Men love that shit. Eye contact, touching him and stuff. He can't deal. He melts. And then you look at him like, you cheater, you bum, you cheated on me. But you're not looking at yourself like, what the fuck did I do for this? See, that's how I am. If something goes wrong, I blame myself first. You got to learn how to take responsibility. Don't blame him for everything. Because maybe you were doing something that led to that. And I know it's hard for you to accept, but that's because some people are very arrogant. That vanity is arrogant. You have to learn how to become human. That's why they're always going to tell you to communicate. In the first house where Aries is, the house of Aries, in Capricorn, you got Mercury, the communicator. A lot of people don't communicate. And then when a problem happens, they separate or divorce. Not, let's work this out. Let's find out where we both went wrong. This hurts, but let's work through this. Okay, let's get professional counseling. Let's try to find out what went wrong so this won't happen again. They don't do that no more. They just like, F you, you cheated on me, now I'm gonna cheat on you, I'm gonna sleep with all your friends, and blam blam blam. And it's over. But they don't realize, okay, so you get him back, but now you're gonna be damned because of what you did. Because then you went out and slept with everybody, you went out and was angry and bitter and vindictive, so now you're gonna be damned. Because you're looking at everything third dimensional. You're forgetting there's a God who's in control of everything. And everything you've gone through was for a reason. That's why when I went through my twin flame situation, I watched what I said, watched how I carried myself. Because I knew no matter what she did, somehow I was going to be held responsible for it. And because I kept that through the whole 2.5 years of hell, when I finally got out of there and I got to a higher court, because there's always going to be a higher court to look at everything. They examined my case and said I did nothing wrong. They said there was no proof to be found that I did anything wrong, despite all these accusations of what she was saying. But had I did anything, yelled, cursed, told her how I really thought, why are you being so mean? You're nothing but a boop. Then my whole thing would have been terrible. So I knew to keep my mouth shut and just go through the process. And that's what you got to do sometimes. Just go through the process. It will be over. Where for every darkness, there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's what you choose to look at. And I look like it. I'm going to tell you the mature way to handle adultery or when somebody cheats on you. If you're not willing to talk about it, you're too emotional, you don't want to get a guy a chance to explain what the hell happened. If you're that cold, you're so hurt, then move on. Don't destroy yourself because of something somebody else did. And don't destroy other people's lives because now you're going around wrecking somebody else's life or somebody else's thing because you got hurt. This is all a cycle of the devil. Though we don't like to talk about the devil because we don't want to believe he exists. But that's why you're hearing about Capricorn. And that's why when you do tarot cards, you hear about number 15. The devil messed up the lovers. You had card number 6. They were all lovers. And you see number 6 in your first house with Uranus. They were all lovers at card number 6. But unfortunately, they fall into card number 15, which is third dimensional. Materialism, egotism. And they got bound. And then they can't ascend. Now, card number 6, they can ascend. And that's why they're naked. That's what nakedness means. You're innocent. You can ascend. But when you see people bound with chains on and now they got clothes on like the Garden of Eden. Because Adam and Eve were naked at first. Because they had the right to ascend. They could go up and down anytime they wanted to. But now because they sinned, they had to put on clothes. Because now they're bound to the material world. And the Garden of Eden represented the heaven on earth. And they were able to walk through heaven and talk directly to God. They said God used to walk through the garden, his voice. Used to walk through his breezy, through the trees and stuff. They knew God was there because all of a sudden we hear his voice coming through the trees, the voice of God in the garden. But after that, they got kicked out. They had to wear clothes and they got kicked out because they could no longer have that ascension. They were now bound to earthly things. And not only were they bound to earth, he said from now on, the earth is not going to draw its product. Like no matter how much you farm the land, it's going to be real hard to get produce to eat. So that's in your natal charts, which is what I'm trying to show you, and they're showing it to you in the card reading. So far, that's your thing of Capricorn. They're telling you to make a wise choice. It's not saying Capricorn is evil, because Capricorn is actually a real good worker. Capricorns tend, they like to look good, they're sociable, they care about people, they're good workers. But they can overdo it and become such a good worker that they become materialistic. Now that's the sin. You just have to be careful and be balanced, and that's what they're talking about, that well. Now in John chapter 4, the woman at the well, Jesus was sitting there waiting for her. She didn't know. She just thought he was sitting there. So she came, and they claimed that in those days a man wouldn't talk to a woman in public. So Jesus saw her and said, give me some water or something like that. And she didn't know why he was talking to her because she didn't know who he was. And she was like, men don't talk to women in public. Why is he asking me to get water? And so Jesus tried to talk to her to get her to fess up. Because she had been with many different men. So Jesus was trying to get her to talk. She was trying to talk to Jesus about prophecy. And he kept talking to her about her personal life. And she kept ignoring the question. If you've never read John chapter 4, read it. She would try to go around the question. And Jesus would keep bringing her back to the question. So finally, she answered his question. And then Jesus said, you've answered correctly. He said, you've been with 5 men. And none of the men are your husband. And the man you're with now is not your husband. And then she said, you must be a prophet. Like, how you know my business? You must be a prophet. And then through her being honest and working with Jesus, he was able to help her. And then through her running and telling the city, I met the prophet. That's the only person he told he was the Messiah. Like most of the people didn't know he was a Messiah. He never told them I am the Messiah, but he told her. So she had this special gift that she knew what a Messiah, and went and told the whole city, and the whole city got saved. And those people were really part of the bloodline of the promise, but they had fallen away due to the days of, I believe, Nebuchadnezzar. When Nebuchadnezzar broke up the cities, and a lot of people from Jerusalem became involved with witchcraft and stuff like that. And so they were no longer considered the bloodline, but God still considered them the bloodline. So that's why Jesus was sent to bring it back. So that's how powerful that was. Now, it may not sound powerful to other people. Like, what does that got to do with me? It's got everything to do with you because it's on your natal chart. You got to just slow down. You're going to have to learn how to study, meditate, take in spiritual stuff. And then it's going to mean everything to you. And through that, you're going to help a whole lot of people. You may be responsible for a very, very big conversion among your people. Believe it or not. Because I see it in your natal chart. You need to learn John chapter 4, the woman at the well. She had a big conversion of her people to the Messiah, to the Son. The S-O-N, and the Bible also says he's the S-U in the Malachi chapter 4. We will now continue. I'll be right back. And to spell it out for you, the woman at the well at the 6th hour. Remember, the number 6 was the same time the darkness showed up at the cross at Luke 23:43-46. In other words, that woman at the well represented the darkness. And she said the well is deep, but Jesus represented the light. So in John chapter 4, you see the balancing between the darkness and the light. At Luke chapter 23, verse 43-46 or so, you see the karmic debt being paid. The darkness showed up to take that karmic debt. Jesus became sin for anybody that's going to solar a sin. He became sin and took it to the cross with him. And that darkness showed up to take that debt. And then that was the balancing. Once that debt was paid, that's the balancing of the two lights. Because darkness, they don't like to consider darkness light, but I do. I'll tell you why I consider darkness light. Because light came out of the darkness, so darkness was there first. So in order for light to come out of that darkness, it had to be some type of light. And that's what people don't understand about the mysteries. Even the Bible tells you about Moses going to see God, and Moses seeing God first face to face. But then they also tell you that Moses went into the darkness where God was. Exodus 20 verse 21. But then they also tell you that after Moses went to see God, he came out and his face was shining so bright like the sun, they had to cover up Moses' face. So where did he get that light from? You got to think about it. You got to use your brain. You got to use metaphysics. So obviously inside of that thick darkness, it had to be light if Moses was going back and forth and his face was shining. Interesting. I'll be back. All right, two amazing things I have to add and very important. First thing, if you're noticing, it has to do with saving of people. And I told you that was what your calling is. I told you that on the first thing. So that hasn't changed. And the more we study it, the more you find out that what I told you is the truth. The woman at the well, she saved all her people. And she brought her people back to where they should have been. Moses, another one, he saved all his people. These are all saviors or deliverers. Now, how do I do that? Am I saying you're the modern day Joan of Arc or somebody like that? No, I didn't say all that. But you will be used in a way, and I'm finally telling you, but I've been told to tell you to read the book of Esther that's in the Bible, because that's about a girl. I'm just saying a girl, no disrespect, but she was young. So they say a girl, but she was a young woman that was used to save her people. And then don't only read the book of Esther from the Bible, but read the book of Esther from the, I think they call it Apocrypha, something like that, the Apocrypha. Read that because they say that's way more prophetic than the book of the Bible, the book of Esther. Now, the second thing I want to say is this for people that are listening. Now, my twin wanted to wage war. See, she was an Aries too. She had the Aries energy, Scorpio energy, all kind of low-level, animalistic, primordial energy. So all she wanted to get was revenge, which really messed everything up. But what she doesn't understand is, first and foremost, I didn't even know she was my twin. So how was I supposed to know? And if she really understood what I did, I was loyal to the one person that I would be with. So any other female that was running up, and I had a whole bunch of females stalking me at that time, they all were treated the same way she was. Stay away from me. I don't know you, and I'm not here looking for a relationship. I'm here for a job. Had I known she was my twin, I would never treated that. But she's so busy being mean and evil that she never learned that. And she went and made all these decisions that really messed up the relationship, really messed up the hopes of us being unionized anytime soon. All she had to do was be patient. That's why I said before you're ready to get somebody back and jump in bed with somebody else and all that crazy stuff that you females tend to do, because you let your emotions get the best of you, maybe you need to find out before you make a move. I'm not saying don't get payback. I'm saying you need to give the guy a chance. That's why I despise this third dimensional existence, because you all use that word love like you go to a water fountain. I love this water. Hey, I want to use that water fountain. I love it. But as soon as a little pressure comes, you forsake it, betray it, and it's over with. And you're with somebody else. You might still be in pain, but you're still with somebody else. No loyalty whatsoever, but yet you have the audacity to use that word love. And this is why Samuel came. This is why Samuel came to remind people that really care about the higher realm, not just third dimensional thinking. My best friend Samuel came, and he said peace. Peace comes from remembering that only love is real. And he darn sure ain't talking about third dimensional love. He's talking about real love, where you give the person the benefit of the doubt, where you, instead of just saying I'm out of here, you try to help with healing the situation. That's why I bowed down. I tried to heal the situation, but this woman was evil at the end of the day. Not saying she didn't have some good points or whatever, but she was evil. Every attempt to try to connect was met with craziness. And then if I got frustrated and forgot about it, went on about my life, the whole running and chasing, playing games and playing games. And all it did was it got worse and worse and worse, and the separation got so far. So if you can remember that love, peace comes from remembering only love is real. If you're being called to this channel, especially if a lot of y'all are really committing, so that must mean you understand it's a higher calling. If you have a higher calling, you have to act like a higher person. You can't stay third dimensional anymore. You're not being allowed to. You're not being allowed to, because the universe is calling you, and you know that. For anybody that's really committing, it's because you know you're being called. So you have to stop with the third dimensional thinking, because God is getting you ready for your twin, despite what's going on. Stop seeing in 3D. That's not the reality. The reality is God, the universe, your natal chart is calling you to your real assignment, and it's up to you to pick it up. And me, all I can do is tell you what's there. You understand? It's not my point. Some people think I'm out here, like they think I have to convince. I don't have to convince anybody anything, because I know I'm telling the truth. I don't have to convince Jack Dilly Squad. So whenever somebody contacts me with that type of attitude, oh ho, wait a minute, you're talking to the wrong person. You must think I have to prove. I don't have to prove anything to you. Either you want your natal chart and it'll be done from the universe, or you don't. And that's why so many leave and then they come back. You're being called for a reason, and you are the one that's supposed to be taking authority over your life. Once you know what you got your natal chart, you got your angel answers. It's really up to you to begin to make goals and take authority. Now, people need help from time to time. They need to talk to people from time to time. That's all understandable. But you still need that natal chart, and you need to know. Whether it's a twin flame situation, whether it's a personal set, whatever it is, you need that natal chart. You may need some angel card answers. And from then, once you study a little bit, meditate a little bit, start talking to God more, talking to your angels more, you'll be in a position to make a better decision. This is not something you're going to rush through. I can tell you that right now. So whenever you hear natal chart, angel cards, your real life purpose, that means pump your brake, homie. Do you know what that means? Pump your brake, homie. That's what they say on the west side. Pump your brake, homie. That means slow down. Because the angels going to take that energizing and they're going to slow you down, and they're going to show you how to really use that energy most effective for your life purpose as well as for your twin soul relationship. And they're going to do it because they're fabulous, they're wonderful, and they won't fail you. But you have to believe it. That's what this is about. Now, many of y'all think it's about, oh, where's my twin? And will I be with my twin? And all that is the reason that God is using to get your attention. And they're trying to tell you, yeah, you'll be with your twin when you work with your angels. Yeah, you'll be with your twin when you get out of third dimensional thinking. Yeah, you'll be with your twin when you realize you have a life purpose, which is why you're being called. That's when you'll get with your twin. And if you run away, because a lot of people like to run, if you run away, you're only going to get too far before you're going to have to face what I just got finished telling you again. You're just like Jonah. Read the book of Jonah, because he kept running too. He kept running. Oh, I didn't know it was about this. This is too hard. I'm not studying nothing. What is he talking? I don't even know what he's talking about. That's not me. That natal chart's wrong. That can't be me. No, you really got that one wrong. Yeah, just like Jonah thought God had it wrong in the book of Jonah and tried to run away from it. So keep in mind, just remember if you didn't hear nothing else I said through this whole video, hear what I just told you. You can run, but you can't hide from the Most High. Let's say that, people. You can run, but you can't hide from the Most High. One more time. You can run, but you can't hide from the Most High. He's coming for you. You've got a calling, and it's on you, and that's the only reason why you would be listening to me. Because it's burning you, and you know it's the truth. Now, let's go on to some more questions. How does her twin feel about her? We will be back with the Archangel's answers. Okay, 3 cards pulled, and we're going to go with the answer, but I want to say something else. When it comes to your twin, that's naturally. It may not seem like it at first and you're in third dimensional, but there's always going to be natural love between you and your twin. Unbelievable love. But sometimes the person knows a little bit more. They have to be the nurturer, and they have to just watch how they talk and watch how they relate to the twin. It just depends. Because you're trying to get the twin to realize y'all are here for a purpose. And sometimes you just got to be patient, and that love will begin to grow. The love will sometimes have to be nurtured or cultivated. But the love is definitely there. It's not that they don't love you or whatever, but sometimes they're confused. Just like if you first found out about it, you were confused too. So, like that's why Jophiel, the relationship card, said patience and nurturing. All right. Now we're gonna look at the question again. Give me a second. Give me a second. How does my twin feel? So how does the twin feel about her? First card of 3. Nurture. I love when I'm in sync with these angels. I love my angelic family. Gabriel is telling you to nurture. Again, because your twin is an indigo or sensitive, you got to learn how to. This is what I need you to do, Speedy. Now you wanna have some happy love, real love. You're gonna have to learn how to look at him when you talk, make that eye contact, touch him when you're talking. You're gonna have to nurture him a little bit, and you're gonna really see him become alive. Because that's what these indigos need. They really need that. Let me just tell you what happened with me. Because I didn't know nothing about twin flames. And like, I've been through a lot of shit on this planet because I'm an earth angel. You people can't imagine the hell we go through for you humans. So I just was keeping to myself. And then God wouldn't let me get to work because God's training me. So every time I get a job, I get up early in the morning to go to the news on Sundays and Wednesdays to get the classified. So I would know what job to look for. And then there would be no classified every time. The classified section would not be in the paper because God let me know. And Paul Bagley says the same thing. Paul Bagley says he had all these opportunities. And then God said, I need you to do this. And Paul said once, Pastor Bagley said once God told him that all his opportunities closed up. So now he's waiting around what opportunity. And the only opportunity that would open up was YouTube. And Paul Bagley said he didn't want to do YouTube. He didn't see, hey, look, I got to get out. I got to preach. This is my livelihood. I got to get out. But that was the way that was open. I've had that open all the time. So what I'm saying was, by the time I finally got a job, I just wanted to work. I didn't know nothing about no twin flame, no twin soul. And relationships never worked. They just never did. So I want to do something else now. I did all my earlier life was that whole lovey-dovey, hopefully I'll find somebody. This life I want to do something totally different. And so here it came. So my twin was trying to connect, but it just wasn't happening. And then when I tried to connect with her, she wouldn't talk. So that really turned me off. I was like, no, she's crazy. Because I didn't know nothing about indigo children and sensitive children and crystal children. That's what she is. I didn't know none of that. I was like, man, she's crazy. So I really was trying to turn her off. So that was really hurting her because I still didn't know about twins. I just figured she's just another female. Who cares? Like, it's just that way. Because there's a whole lot of times when I like the female, she's not interested. All you can do is move on. That's life. So the universe always kept me and her together. So when I would take break, I would go to the back of the building basically. So she would always be back there. It would just be me and her. This was a big ass building. This is the universe. It would just be me and her back in this back room, like in this back building. So she was used to me, like, because I was always moving fast, but I'm always moving fast. So she took that personal. Like, she took that like, why won't he slow down? And he's doing that on purpose so he doesn't talk to me. So then she finally told me she had a boyfriend or whatever, and I was like, good. Like, I was like, good. I like, good. She can get on with her life now, hopefully, and I'll get on with my life. Because I still didn't really know what twin flames was and twin souls and all that shit. I didn't know. The universe was just beginning to teach me. So one day I was in that back when I went walking, and she was walking. Like, as I came out, she was right there because that always used to happen. So as I was walking by her, I said, what's up to her or something. So she said something kind of, she was slick with the tongue. And I'm not like, don't talk slick talk. I'm not with that slick talk shit. Like, really. I'm a very respectful person until I'm disrespected. Then I'm a totally different animal. Unless you're ready to go, don't push that button. So don't say no slick shit. So she said something slick. So I said to myself, is she still? Because she was always like, she was always ready to duke it out. And keep in mind, I don't know who she is. Like, what's all the animosity? I don't even know you. I barely talk to you. What is the problem? So I said to myself, she's really immature. So as I was walking, I kind of turned around and kind of looked at her. It was kind of funny, but I turned around and kind of looked at her as to say, don't you think you should like let it go, whatever it is? You said you got a boyfriend, so why do you really care? So I still tried to be nice about it. So as I spent around to make eye contact, she made eye contact with me because she's always on her phone. Because she's like a little kid, she's always on her phone. And then she just looked up with her eyes and we made eye contact, and I thought that was so cute. It was so funny. And then I said to her, I said, really, how are you? Like, how are you doing? Because the way I said it, I guess she thought I didn't mean it. Because when I was walking by, I said, how you doing or whatever. So then I stopped, I looked at her, I said, oh, really, how are you doing? And then she changed. She went from being like really defensive to this innocent little girl. She said, I'm okay. And then she said, how are you? And that's the only time she ever was like, I was like, whoa, she's totally different now. So that's when I was studying it at the same time, that whole twin flame stuff. And they like, if you open up to them, they're going to open up to you. Sometimes you have to be patient, especially if y'all put each other through some. But if you stay consistent with them, they will eventually open up to you. And then, like I said, the love will be greater. And so that night she parked her vehicle next to mine. Like she was supposed to park next to the building to take her cousin somewhere, but she parked her vehicle next to mine because, like I said, it was obvious. It was obvious, she wanted. It was just one of the things. She wanted to be with me. It was just one of them things. But I didn't know what a twin flame was, so I don't really regret none of that because I didn't know. See, I've been on the planet long enough, and I'm trying to tell everybody listening. You're going to have some type of maturity about yourself. It's not going to be a love story for most of y'all. Some of y'all might get the love story, but a lot of y'all are going to get the drama first. Like, that's why he gave you the woman at the well. She didn't just come out and tell him the truth. He had to keep pressing her. Then she said the well is deep. You got to read it because that's the drama you're going to go through. And if you read Psalm 69, when David was in the deep, he went through a lot of drama. There's going to be a lot of drama. It's just the way it is. And you got to be strong enough to go through that drama. But there is love. And you have to look at it. I look at it like this. I'm a soldier. So that's still my soul. That's the whole thing. Soldier, soul. I still got a responsibility to her. Despite all the hell she put me through, despite all the misunderstandings, I still have an obligation to her. You understand? That's how I see it. I don't really see a love story because I'm real funny about that. Like I'm a Leo, we're very loyal and we hate disloyalty. That's one thing we do not like to tolerate. And we're always giving, so we're always feeling like disloyal. So I'm not really talking about romance and all that right now. But like I said, if she's willing to talk, I'm willing to talk. I'll make sure I try my best not to set her off a certain way. But also I'm also not going back to all that game plan. Like if I got a job, if I walked in, if I saw her, I walk right out and quit on the spot. Like I would never allow myself to be put in that hell again, ever, ever, ever. It's like I would go in a jail cell before I go in there with her. And the only thing that would stop me from going to jail cell, like it was a big dude in there or something, like a homo or something. Like I wouldn't go in a jail cell. But other than that, I would go in a freaking jail cell before I would ever go through that hell with her. Now, if I would try to talk to her, but if she was acting funny, I would just walk away because there's nothing I can do about none of that. Because at the end of the day, I never did anything to her for her to be such a jerk. So she has to learn some things herself. It can't all be about me changing, and her not. So I duke it out with God. I duke it out with the universe. And they work with you. The angels will work with you, believe it or not. If you tell the angels how you really feel, they will, because God is gracious. And they will work with you. So what they're telling you with this card, how does your twin feel about you? They're telling you have to be the nurturer. The card says, as you nurture a child, you nurture your own inner child, because both of you are twin souls. Both of you are really inner children. You're the same soul. That's your inner self. As you nurture a child, you also nurture your own inner child. Both activities are important for you right now. So you got to be the one. You got to be the one. And I told you that in the beginning. Metatron told you. You got to be the one to really make this person feel great about themselves, great about you, great. But that's when people start saying, I can't live without you. See, what do y'all really want? I don't understand, because when I first came out, it was funny because I was just being honest about Twin Flame. And when I first came out, I was still very angry. So people would try to listen, but they couldn't take it because I was very angry. Not angry like going to hurt somebody, but just angry like, why? You know? And I had to get through all of that. But you still got to ask yourself, what do you really want? I'm talking to everybody listening to this video. What do you really want? Because what they're trying to teach you is real love when you really can't live without that person. Which means y'all have learned how to talk. Y'all have learned how to get over each other's fears. Y'all have made a commitment to be there for each other. Because that's what Angelica finally had to do in my Twin Flames playlist, Angel Creations and Angelica. Because she tried to use black magic to get rid of her twin. She did everything to get rid of her twin. She wanted nothing to do with the twin. That's normal. It's too hard. It's too complicated. I'm not ready. I'm not really attracted to. You go through all this. You don't want it. But there's a whole lot of people that got married that wasn't really attracted to each other at first. That's normal. It's just humans. But you got to get past all of that to the point that you've really opened up to them. They've really opened up to them. You needed them there for you. They were there for you. And now you're like, I can't live without this person. Because that's really, to me, that's the objective when you say twin soul. And it's sad because sometimes twin souls come together, then they separate. They come together, then they separate. And that's what I hate that part. But like I said, I don't know. So that's why nurturing is important. How does your twin feel about you? Azrael again. See, he keeps showing you Capricorn Azrael because your twin is in your first house. Because they keep showing you Azrael with Capricorn. And that he says, comfort, I am with you in your time of need, helping your heart to heal. So you got that Capricorn connection. When you asked about your twin having psychic abilities, Azrael came with the Capricorn. And Gabriel represents the moon and Cancer. You also need to read Santos. On that natal worksheet I gave you, you have Santos who talks about the gods and Cancer and Capricorn. You need to check that out as well whenever you get some time. How does your twin feel about you? Joe Fiel, who corresponds with Libra, says, clear your space. Get rid of clutter, clear the energy around you, and use Feng Shui. So they believe that if you clear your space, like she said, use Feng Shui, and if you arrange your surroundings in harmony with the principles of Feng Shui, that'll help you with your twin flame relationship. So you can check into that if you want to, but that is a belief that a lot of people have. They say your connection to your twin has a lot to do with energy and energy transmission. And if you have clutter all around you, it's harder for the transmission to occur. All right. She asked a real good question. I've been talking about this a lot. I'm glad she asked it. Okay, you're asking what your purpose and union is with your twin. Believe it or not, you will have that information when you unite with your twin. You might get it from me. You might get it from your twin. You might get it from a supernatural source. You may get it from somebody else. But you will have that information from your twin. You'll have that information at the right time. I know you're a liberator. However you do that, I don't know, but you're a liberator for your people. Whether that's a liberator from any information that's not true, but you're a liberator. I know that. All right. She's asking a really good question. She says, is the real reason she's going to unite with her twin is to have sex and ascend with Kundalini energy, allowing us to reach new spiritual heights. And she's talking about because people say when you get to the orgasm point, you hold it. And I know how to answer it. Just give me a second. There's a lot of people that teach that teaching, and a lot of people that that's probably a Hindu teaching, probably, but you do see it in Egyptology too, because a lot of Egyptologists teach that, and a lot of Freemasons and people in secret societies teach that, and that's why even they engage in homosexuality, because they say homosexuality raises your energy, Kundalini energy up your back spine, and it extends in wisdom. And I want to answer it simple, but I can't. I would ask you, anybody listening, how wise do you have to be? Like me, I think I feel I'm pretty wise. I'm pretty knowledgeable, pretty wise. I've never had to take it up the rear to get to knowledge. For me, it just says ask God for wisdom, and God gives you wisdom. So for me, that's all I need. Because you're only going to need so much wisdom in this world. Because this world is only using less than 10% of the brain. Now, 30 years ago, they were saying they were using 10% of your brain. But it's probably less than that now because we become more animalistic. Like I said, for people with crazy sex practices. So, how much wisdom are you going to take? And then let's just say you did. Let's just say, the guy bent over and took it up the rear, and and the energy went up his back spine, the Kundalini, and whoa, he's wise. He's all wisdom. Where is he going to use it here? Where is he going to use it at? You're on a planet where wisdom is building nuclear warheads. So many that we could destroy this planet thousands of times over. But yet we're still building nuclear warheads. And that's wisdom. So if I came to you, let's stick with me, people. Let's just say it's freezing cold outside. Any of you guys ever used to watch Tomcat? They called him, I think, Tomcat TC. Or did y'all used to watch Honeymooners with Art Carney? Do y'all remember the vest that those guys used to wear? Because they almost wore the same vest. I don't know why my computer is acting up. Alright, give me a second. I want to look at something. Alright. I'm looking up Tomcat. I want to make sure that's who it was. Because I know they called him TC. Hurry up, computer. I can't believe I forgot his name. Well, I won't hold it up. I can't believe it. How could I forget his name? He was one of my favorites because he was thugged out. They even had, I think the dog was the police. The police was a dog. Come on. Anyway, they wore this little vest. Alright. A. Norton from Honeymooners wore the vest. There he goes, TC. I'm looking right at him, but I just want his name. And TC wore that sweet hat too. Because that's how we used to do it. Wearing the little skimmers, the nice hat. He was thugged out. He was one of my favorites. I just don't remember his name. A long time ago. Okay, so the cop wasn't a dog. It was a man. So I'm looking right at him, but they don't want to give me his name. Top Cat. Ew. They called him Top Cat? I was calling him Tomcat. No, he was cool. Alright, so it's Top Cat. So I come over your house. It's freezing cold. And I tell you, just listen to what I'm saying. Because you got to learn how to think. Seriously. Not being funny. It's freezing cold outside. And I come over with this little Top Cat vest on. So yeah. Here's this vest. Put this vest on. And it'll keep you warm when you go outside. And you say, wait a minute. This little vest is not going to keep me warm. And anyway, it don't have no sleeves. And it's all big and opening to my neck and my arms. I'm going to freeze to death if I have to wear this outside. And I say, no. No, you believe. You believe. And the Kundalini energy from the vest, when you get outside in the wind and you believe, it will warm you. Are you going to believe that? Nah. Now, I know I'm a wise person. I'll go toe-to-toe with any of these dudes. But I ain't never bent over. A lot of them guys bent over. Sometimes that's just a low self-esteem. Like if you join like a secret organization and you just want to be, you want power. And you want to be one of the boys. And you know this is money. This is power. This is fame. This is fortune. What do I got to do? I'm ambitious. I'm ready to go. And so they tell you, yes. To be ready, you have to expand your wisdom. To understand what we're going to teach you, you have to expand your mind and wisdom. And the only way you can do that is to bend over and take it up the rear. Or if you're a female, engage in some type of crazy sex. A lot of these secret societies engage in all kind of animalistic stuff. So, personally, I don't believe it. The Bible says you get wise asking God for wisdom. You also get wise by studying. The old school way, the old-fashioned way. Now, you want to talk about twin soul? There are a lot of people that believe the twin soul thing is about sex. But I already talked about this on my videos. People that just believe that are eighth house people, Scorpio people, primal energy people. So if that's all you get out of your relationship, or we came together to have sex so we could ascend or whatever, then you missed the whole point. They don't need to call it a union. They should just say twin soul, the sacred sex union. That's it. So it's not about communication. How come when we go to the natal chart, it's always about Mercury and communication? Always. See, there's a time and place for everything. Time and place for everything. So when a man and his twin soul, a woman and her twin soul, they're alone, that's their business, whatever they do. They can go all eighth house if they want to. They can go all primordial if they want to. But they also have to have communication, and it's a real, because how can you call it a soul relationship and y'all don't even talk? And most of the people that jump in bed, guess what? They break up right after that. Like once the sex is gone, they break up because they didn't have a soul commitment. They had a sexual commitment, but yet they call it soulmate. You can't leave. You'll be telling your soulmate, I can't live without you. Y'all talk. Y'all are they're there for each other. Y'all are just there, like real family. That's why a lot of times you see the fourth house talks about twin souls, because it's real. It's supposed to be real family. It's not just somebody you're dating. Oh, this is my soulmate. It's soulmate, real soulmate. So yeah, it does have the 10th house of crazy sex and unbelievable sex and passion and mad sex, but also has the 3rd house of communications, 4th house of family, 7th house of relationships, 5th house of romance, even healing. Oh man, I had a bad day. You just go sit by your twin and hugging you and talking to you. 6th house of healing. If you're smart, you start a career with your 10th house, or you still have a journey with them either way. 10th house of healing. Higher self, 9th house of ascension. 11th house of submission. When you get rid of the stupid 3rd dimension ego and you finally just humble yourself. Second house, you'll definitely have money because you got past life money if you're in a twin soul relationship usually. So I just covered every single house except for the 1st house and the 12th house. Why? 1st house is all about Aries, the aggressive one. So they gotta put something in your 1st house to slow you down. Because otherwise you're gonna run all about you and never gonna hook up with your twin. The 12th house is all about dysfunctions. Dysfunctional, everything dysfunctional. So in order to make that house work, they gotta put some stuff in there to balance you out. Sometimes they put Taurus in there, because Taurus is loyal, strong, and he's loyal for relationships. Or they might even put Gemini in there, because that's the twins. But they still gotta put something in there to balance it out. They might put Aries. They might put Aquarius in your 12th house, because that's submission. So when you're young, and that's why I'm glad you're asking these questions, because you 20-year-olds, y'all be the ones getting tore up, because you come out in the world and you don't know how corrupt people are. They'll tell you anything, and you'll believe it because you think these people that maybe got older than you think that they know better and they're trying to help you, but they're not. They're exploiting you. So of course they're going to tell you, oh, you have to have this kind of sex. You have to ascend. Oh, the gods want you to have this kind of sex. But it's just a bunch of perverts. All they are is a bunch of loser perverts. And that's why almost everything they do is some secret society hiding somewhere. Because they know for a fact, if they did that shit in public, they would be found out for who they are. And they may be prosecuted by law. You don't need none of that stuff to ascend. This is how you ascend. You balance out whatever happened with you and your twin in a past life based on the karma on your natal chart. The karma on your natal chart is usually seen by retrogrades. And you still need somebody who's qualified to do that, which I've already done with your chart. So sometimes you just got to go back because you're kind of speedy and you were running through everything. But I said it, I talked about it on this video and I talked about it on your other video. Now, once you're with your twin, you guys are now meeting your karmic debt. You can start working on your journey and you can look forward to solar ascending. Now, people say, well, are we going to die together? You definitely will solar ascend together, but you don't die together, because our time is a matrix. Our time is an illusion. There is no such thing as time. Eternity. Source is eternity. Soul is eternity. That's why they say reincarnation. So Paul tried to explain it. He said, when we ascend, we're going to meet each other in the air at the same time. He said, when that trumpet is blown, even the dead, those who are dead in Christ first, shall meet us in the air. Yada yang, yada yang. Because he didn't know how to explain it that people would understand it. What he's really trying to tell you is it's eternity. The moment you leave here, it's eternity. Just like if you really came from the source, that means you're everywhere at once, just like the source is. But right now, you've bound yourself to this reality, which is the matrix. And you can study more about that on YouTube. The matrix we're in. Saturn, planet Saturn, the rings of Saturn, the matrix. The moon is a big magnet. Matrix. That's why the moon has a serious magnetic effect on people. Matrix. You're in a matrix. You're really an eternal being. And when you leave here, you may solar ascend if you're with your twin. That's the next step. But also, if you're really, everything's parallel. Everything's parallel. There are other parallel worlds. That's why you hear about people going back in time and all kind of crazy stuff. It sounds crazy. But they're saying that somebody went back in time and changed some stuff in a Star Wars movie. I heard a little bit about that. Because see, I don't get that deep with it. This is how you get yourself in trouble. You start getting so deep, it's almost like you're in water. You start getting so deep, you start drowning. But there's no such thing as bending over, taking it up the rear to enhance your wisdom. That's something a pervert would say. Satan says stuff like that. A pervert would say something like that. And twin soul has nothing to do with just sex. That's like the icing on the cake. You want the whole cake. You want the whole relationship. And I warn these people, if you go with your twin and you give it up that quick, y'all gonna go back into separation. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. Because you have to learn communication. You have to learn trust. You have to until y'all both just say, I want to surrender. I want to really be with you. I'm available. You're a top priority. I do have other things in my life, but you're a top priority. That's when the sex comes in. Because that's when everything is good and it can't be stopped. Because it's not like you're having sex with somebody and you're saying the sex is good, but I don't think I'm staying with this person. And anybody out there that's lived life knows I'm not lying. You know you've laid with a whole lot of people where that sex was great, but in the back of your head you were saying, but I don't think I'm staying with this person. So twin soul is not supposed to be like that. Twin soul is like that would never come in your mouth. That's like blasphemy. You would never say that about the person your soulmate. But you're only going to get that way if you open up. And that's why when we go by the natal charts, it's communication. It is not sex that makes the twins stay together. It's Gemini, Virgo, Mercury. All the communicating. All the communicators. Because all of them are ruled by Mercury, the communicator. Virgo is the healer, but still ruled by Mercury. Because you heal through talking to each other. And then you also have Aquarius, which is where they surrender. Where they stop. They say, it's not about 3D no more. It's about me being with you. It's not about third dimensional no more. It's about me being with you. It's about us working together. And if you're willing to commit, I'm willing to commit. Or you got some people to go, whether you commit or not, if you're not ready, I'm still ready. Hoping and believing that person will realize it. Maybe they will, maybe they don't. So I hope that answers those questions. Remember, I'm going to say this again. Anybody that's coming for the natal chart, you're being taught the truth. And you are held accountable for your actions. So if you let somebody trick you into believing having sex is going to take you somewhere and make you wiser, then you've just been deceived. And you're still going to pay for that because that's still like fornication. Or if you got a sacred contract and you kind of break it, you're going to be held accountable for that because that's bad karma. Like you said, it's like a female that goes to the bar and she goes and she drinks, and next thing she gets gangbanged. All these guys rape her. No, let's take it back. Don't say rape. She just does it. She gets drunk and then she's having sex with all these guys. So then she wakes up the next day and she says, oh, I really made a bad mistake. Oh, I had too much to drink. Oh, but the very next week or the week after that, she's back at the same bar drinking again. So can you really say that she was raped, or can you really say that they took advantage of her? No, because she's still going back doing the same thing they got her in the face, but she's just using that alcohol as an excuse to be loose. So that's why I say you can't fool God. God is not one to be mocked. You can't say, oh, I thought this would raise my Kundalini and I bent over. Oh, I thought. Oh, I thought that. No, it don't work that way. God is still going to say you a harlot. Just like he said to the woman at the well. Because she was talking that crazy stuff too. She was talking that, trying to talk about the prophets. And he was talking about her life. You're immoral. Don't talk to me. I'm the prophet. Don't talk to me about prophets. I'm the prophet. And this prophet is telling you that you're immoral. And I want you to admit it. And he would not enlighten her until she admitted it. That's when she got wisdom, when she told the truth. He said, you've been with 5 men. And the man you're with now is not your husband. And she had to fess up. And then that's when he enlightened her. So that's where you're going to get wisdom from, obeying your covenant, your soul contract. So the reason you're getting together is to reunite, because it's soul love. And the reason why you're getting together is because you both have a mission or an assignment, but you won't know it until you get closer together. There's no reason why he would tell you now. Why would he tell you now if you two are not together? He's not going to tell you till you are obedient. That's when God is going to tell you. That's when the universe is going to tell you. Doesn't have to be through me, could be through anybody, but you will know when you two get together. And anybody that holds back an orgasm is stupid. That's the best part of the sex. Come on, hey, who's going to hold back an orgasm? Only some type of idiot would tell you some stuff like that. All right, I'll be back in a moment. Alrighty, and also you have to understand that the devil loves to disrespect the female because he knows the creator is a woman. He knows that. He knows Proverbs chapter 8, the woman, the deep, the depth, wisdom, the creator. Just read Proverbs chapter 8. He already knows that. So this is what he does. You have to say the words again. Like you say, oh, if you are having relations with a person, sexual relations, you come. And everybody's waiting they want that climax because that's the end. When you come, because that's what's going to happen. Everybody's waiting for the coming again. Oh, we can't wait till he's coming again. Oh, he's coming. He could come tomorrow. Oh, I'm waiting for him to come. We're all waiting for him to come because that's the point. That's the highlight. That's the climax. Oh, that's when we can get out of this world the way it is and we can enter paradise. So that's the climax. And you got to understand, when you read the Bible, you have to read it from the viewpoint of God, who is feminine. And that's why she tells you so much about her womb. And they call her womb that divine darkness. They call it paradise. Like I said, it was at the cross. Luke chapter 23, verse 43 to 46. And John chapter 4, 6 to 11, talking about the well is deep. And 2 Corinthians 12, verse 1 to 12, paradise, or that darkness, which represents the deep, dark womb. And then Moses went into the darkness at Exodus 20, verse 21, where God was. And then John chapter 3, he says, can a man go back in his mother's womb again? So they're all praising this divine womb, which is paradise. So you have to understand how she thinks. That's the icing on the cake. That's disrespecting her. You have to see that from a woman's viewpoint. A woman would be pissed off if she put all that work in, and then at that point you didn't come. She'd be mad as I don't know what. You got to understand, you got to say the words. You got to understand what's being told to you. Because she loves the idea of children. She's the great mother. So that's why I said sometimes if you really, like, I've been around a lot of women. That's why if you see women will call each other bitches and shit, like, it's just that way. So you may see a certain thing in a way. So like a lot of women love to dress like what we call harlots. But they don't see it that way. Now when you say, why are you dressing like that? You dress like a harlot. But they think it's kind of cool. They like, oh, well, it's showing I have independence. And it's showing I have strength. And it's showing I have a right to choose who I want to be with. Oh, everybody's looking at me. So you as a man or like some type of really religious person, you might look at her one way, but she doesn't see herself that way. And the Divine Mother does call herself a whore many times. And people that know metaphysics will tell you that. Because she loves the idea of having children. And she loves the praise and adulations that women get. And that's why in the Bible, when they brought that whore to Jesus, they said, we're gonna stone this whore. Because we caught her in the act. And then Jesus said nothing. He put his head down, and he put his finger, which represents the Holy Spirit and the prophet, he put his finger down into the earth. Why? Because she's the mother. The earth, everything came out of her, and everything will return to her. So that's why he put his finger in the dirt to represent her. So he was basically saying, how can I judge where I came from? So like I said, only like a sick person will want you not to enjoy the climax. And it disrespects the Divine Mother, because it's all about having sex and even having kids. Because that's what she's about, and she's always been about that. Be fruitful and multiply. That's like with Catholics. If you put on like back in the day, if you put on a rubber, they want to kick you. They want to kick you out the church for that. Like, don't let them find out. Even if you was married, like I'm serious. Back in the day, you could be married, man, having sex with your wife, but you don't want no kids, or you don't want no more kids, so you used a rubber. If they found out, you could get in trouble. No, like really, those are really good questions. That's why I really wanted to explain that, because that comes up a lot. I just had a female who she asked Archangel. She said, my twin flame doesn't want me. He's with somebody else. So can I get with my soulmate? So the angel told her, yeah. So then, that same night, she was going to get with her soulmate, and the twin called her up. So then she was going to tell her soulmate, no, my twin's calling me and I'm going to be with my twin. And I told her, I said, stop disrespecting the angels. She said, what are you talking about? I said, the angel just told you that you could be with your soulmate, and the angel also told you that you can't be wavering. You can't be doing both things. So then that particular time she didn't go. She stayed with her soulmate. So then I heard from her 12 days later, and she said, oh, well, I'm about to break up with my soulmate, because I like to have a lot of sex and he's not giving me enough sex. And I said to myself, I said, how much sex can somebody give you in 12 days? So you ready to break up already? And she said, well, yeah, he might be my soulmate, but he's not the one for me. So you can see how confused people are with this. And that's why guys like me I stop. See, I'll duke it out. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of nobody on top. I'm not afraid of nobody on the bottom. I'll duke it out, because I'm not with this BS. Like, the problem with this planet is too many people follow a whole bunch of garbage. Just because the Spirit says it, and even Apostle Paul said, in Galatians chapter 1, Paul says, even if an angel told you to do something different than what we told you, let that angel be accursed. So people just be following all this nutty stuff because it appears to come from a spirit, and they think that spirit knows more. But a lot of these spirits are lying. That's why they're called lying spirits in the Bible. You got to be careful what you believe. Now, as far as she's concerned, if that's her only reason, and that's why I keep telling y'all, but y'all not going to listen more. Some of y'all will. I'm proud of y'all. Some of y'all have really done well. You very much impressed me. But some of y'all won't get out that carnal living, because you think, oh, I'm with my twin soul. It got to be about sex. If somebody's that quick to jump in bed with you, they don't respect you. That's the first thing. If that's all they want is sex. So once they get sex, guess what? They're going to keep on running. Like they used to say old time. Once they got the milk, why do you need the cow? Why take on that expense of having a cow if you're already getting the milk? It doesn't make sense. So that's why they tell you, communicate, walk, talk, open up to each other, really become soulmates. All right. She's asking, should she go to Peru with him this year? I'll be back with the answers. Okay, since we are kind of talking about lifestyle, I just did a recent two-parter about past life and how it's kind of affecting a person's present health. They've had bad health. They've been shot. They keep getting in terrible car accidents. And when we went to the natal chart, we saw why. Again, Scorpio energy, because it's all that sex stuff is the eighth house. That twin flame, twin soul, soulmate sex is the eighth house. So you can see on this chart that person, and they told me, but you can see it on that chart. That person was wild, like just party, like a party animal. Everything you name it, she did it. But now she reaped a whole lot of bad karma. So you can watch that part 1 and part 2. But the good news is, everything starts new every day. God's compassion and his tender mercies are renewed each day. So all you got to know is what to work on, what karma to be aware of, and just work on it. And you can continue to live your life happy. You don't have to, you never have to feel guilty or shame. You don't have to feel ashamed or sad. That's stuff you put on yourself. Our love is higher than third dimensional. So we know we don't waste our time on that. But some people, they want to be sad. They want to be in the dark. They want to just be whatever. I had a bad experience with one female recently. That's all she wanted to do, was stay in the dark and keep saying negative stuff about everybody. And everybody was smothering her and everything was bad against her. She just wanted to be a victim. And her twin is evil and blah, 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 blah. And I couldn't take it no more. And I was proud because I was very honest. And a lot of people watched that video because the girl kept asking me, "Oh, please, please, get rid of the don't get rid of the video." And it was confidential. Nobody knew who it was, but that's just how she was. But everybody that watched the video, I got like a lot of likes, because people are waking up. Like keep in mind, when I first came out, nobody liked me, but I told them I'm telling you the truth, and I said you can run, but you can't hide, because this twin flame thing can be very difficult. But you got to man up at some point. You got to woman up at some point. But I'm not saying people won't make mistakes, because everybody makes mistakes. But I'm saying ultimately, if you want your twin soul experience to be what it can be, both of y'all have got to submit to each other. Y'all have got to stop the third dimensional BS. And it might take some time, but it's got to start. And like that's how I said, people say, because it starts off that way. That's why I didn't fall for it. Somebody smiling, all that, or they looking at you like they really love you. Now, I used to fall for that shit. But then you try to get involved with the relationship, and it's crazy. It's hell. And I don't need it. So that's why I wasn't with it. So I don't regret nothing. I didn't know who she was or why she was looking at me like that. I don't regret nothing. And I did. Once I found out, I did try to make peace. Even before I knew who she was, I was trying to talk to her. So she chose to be vindictive and all that other third dimensional stuff. But at the same time, I don't mind. Like, I'm busy. So I don't mind a single life because I'm busy. And like, as far as where my life is, I think in a lot of ways, my life is way better now than it was ever before. You understand? I've been here a long time, bro. So I've been there. I've done that. Sometimes you just want to chill out and be able to just move without having to answer to nobody. And thank God I'm able to do that right now. So your question. Should you go to Peru to see him? First card of 3. Crystal clear. So Michael's telling you the same thing he's telling all these other females. And you know why? Because y'all got a habit of not being crystal clear. Y'all can be wishy-washy. And then you try to make it seem like it's the man's problem, when it's actually yours because you're not being crystal clear. So let's see what Michael is saying. Crystal clear intentions. Be clear about what you desire and focus upon it with unwavering faith. So to make things happen, you have to be clear about what you desire. That would be your intention. And then you have to focus on it, that intention, with unwavering faith. So if you tell them you got to go, you're going to go, you got to go. If you're going to tell them you ain't going to go, you ain't going to go. If you tell them you don't know, you're not sure, Michael's telling you to find out and be specific when you do, and then stick to it. Next card. Michael's telling me to look at your good fortune. Because on Michael's necklace, it's not a necklace, it's on his shirt, but it looks like good fortune. So Michael is telling me to find your good fortune and look at it. Your good fortune, whoa, there goes Aries. Aries, the self-willer. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth house of family, and you got Palace at 6 and 13. 13 can be test. 1 is good fortune. 1 degree, and then another number I believe is 18, which is 666, which is perfect love. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you gotta listen to me. Listen up. Very good. Aries is also your first house where Capricorn is, and I told you your first house is your twin. So there is some type of connection between Aries, even if it's just the first house. See, I don't come out here to argue. I come out here to solve situations. You have some connection with your twin with Capricorn, but since Capricorn is in your first house ruled by Aries, you also have an Aries connection. That could be your twin, could be somebody on your side, could be a family, because it's also in the family house. So what Michael is trying to tell you, because this is the family house, and that's what you're asking to go see him, so you must be going to see his family too. So remember what I told you about the Capricorn and the Aries. And in the fourth house is Cancer. And I already told you you need to study Santos about Cancer and Capricorn, because that's about higher beings coming to Earth and living as humans. Kind of like I'm an Earth angel, but even different. So you might want to just make a note of that, because that's what Michael's trying to tell you. And it's gonna be good. You also have other people going with you. The supernatural will be with you. So it's all about love. It may be some test, but nothing too serious. And that might help. That might help calm your Aries energy. Because you might meet somebody, like they may give you something to slow you down. Because I see you just as an energizer bunny, unbelievable. But I see why, because it's in your first house. But this whole thing is about, you just gotta know when to turn it on. Like you gotta become like Supergirl. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what her name is, but whatever her real name is, just be her. But then when it's time to become Supergirl, go into the closet or go into the phone booth and then turn on your energizer and then just do what you do. But you can't live your whole life like that, because I don't think nobody could keep up with you. But if you're saving the world, and you need that kind of energy. So that was Michael told you. Thank you, Michael, for telling us about the necklace and good fortune. So Michael's giving you the heads up. He's telling you to go because it's gonna help you with your life purpose. Second card is whoa. Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. Now I really need you to listen, because this Michael came earlier this week, and people that listen to me daily, they know Michael came upside down, and that's not a good sign. Now I know you said, well, that contradicts. Don't let your third dimensional mind mess up what I'm trying to tell you. And it's funny because it's 3 too. That house is 3. But it's not me. I didn't hold this card upside down on purpose, because the card is right side up. This is the second time Michael has come upside down. And when it came the first time, I said it's not talking about me, because I stay prayed up. So I know this ain't about me. And now he's coming again in your reading. And I'm being told by a lot of people that Michael has been showing up in a lot of people's readings lately. So he's telling you, if the card was right upside, if it was right side up, it would say you are safe. I am protecting you against lower energies and guarding your loved ones and home. But it's down, so he's warning you. Now you have to go to the third card to find out what's happening. And you got to remember there's something about the number 3, because it's in your fourth house, but they count it as number 3. You can see on your chart. And it's 3 cards were pulled. The next card. Aries. Wow. Wow. She's saying be courageous and stand up for your beliefs. And that's going back to your first house. You got to give me a minute, because I got to type all this in. First house, Aries. Capricorn. For 4th house, Aries. Oh, Cancer, Aries. First house, Aries, Capricorn. 4th house, Cancer, Aries. All right. I'm just trying to think it out. I think he's warning you. You just have to, whatever you have to be what you say. And if you're not, it could lead to problems. That's what I'm getting from all of that. Because the last time Ariel showed up in your reading, she told you to spread your wings. And she told you to go. These are how these cards work. Just because we go 1, 2, 3, 4, no, they're going to answer at the best moment. So they might answer your question number 1 at another question because they're giving it to you at the best moment. They're basically saying what I'm saying is go. But if you go and you're wishy-washy or you're playing games with people's emotions, that it could be dangerous. That's what I'm getting. And I don't know nothing about Peru. I really don't know. The last time Ariel showed up was, does my twin flame have the same psychic feelings as I do? And then she said, spread your wings. So I just said that. What was I talking about earlier? When people be acting like they in love or they be making love, but they still be saying in the back of their head, but I'm not going to be with this person. But if your twin is psychic, he's going to know what the heck you thinking. Just letting you know. You can take that any way you want, but Michael hardly ever shows up upside down. And I knew he wasn't talking about me the other time he showed up upside down. If anything, he was giving me a warning. I had a couple, like I got a strange phone call, but I handled that. That was no problem. But for that to happen, with the good fortune and everything. So I think your twin, I don't know him, but he may overreact because sometimes people just go crazy. You know, they don't know how to deal with rejection. And I don't know about like indigo children. Because this is what I'm trying to tell you. This is what a lot of you females don't understand. It's cool that y'all are really loving. You know, guys can say what they want about y'all, but at least y'all love life and y'all want to have fun and y'all make people happy and y'all have a great time. But what happens sometimes is if you show that type of affection to the wrong person, that's how you get stalking. And that's how you got a guy that wants to kill you and stuff. So you got to really be serious about this. And it's my job to warn you. Because like some people think it's a joke. This is not a joke. Like you can't be nurturing a guy and rubbing all up on him and stuff if you're saying, well, this is my twin. Because you're making him think, wow, she really likes me. Wow, she really wants to be with me. She makes good eye contact. She really wants this. Oh, she's coming way out here to see me. But if you don't commit, like really commit, you don't do all that other stuff. And I got so many girlfriends that have been killed. Well, not my girlfriends, but friends of mine that are girls. So for Michael to come upside down, you can listen. You can listen to. I've done thousands of videos out here, literally thousands of videos. You can listen to all of them, and you'll never see one video except the more recent one. This week, the same week I'm dealing with you, that card comes up. And that's why everybody listening, you have to be very careful when you're in a twin soul relationship because nobody has a right to put their hands on you. But it's powerful. You can't just do what the heck you want because you're killing that person. And what happened with my twin, she loved it. She loved playing mind games and hurting me and stuff like that. Now, years ago, I would have stepped to her. I would have told her ass off years ago. But thank God I grew a little bit. I matured a little bit. I would have never let her get away with that years ago. So that's what I'm getting from here. You gotta, if you're gonna walk that journey, you gotta really walk it. Because if you don't, he might not be, he can't deal with it. He's going to take it personal. And I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to tell you. Let me tell you this so you know that I'm not lying to you. When that card first came out, when Ariel first came out and said spread your wings, one time I got a friend and she was in a relationship with this abusive dude. I think he's the father of her kids or something. And he was real abusive. And she was telling me like he's evil and he's a devil or whatever. But I didn't know because I just wait till I get the cards. I don't know because sometimes you just don't like somebody and you'll say anything. So I didn't know. But when we got to him, as soon as we got to him, and she was like, how should she handle it? And Ariel came out, that same card, and she said, spread your wings. And it was like, tell her to get the hell away from him. Get the hell away from him. And then that same night, he beat her. He beat her like bad to the point they had to lock him up. So don't take this lightly. Because when Ariel first came, I wanted to say it, but I kept my mouth shut. You said, does my twin flame have the same psychic feelings as I do? And then Ariel was like, spread your wings. Because, yes, he does. Which means if you think it's some slick stuff, he gonna know it. Last thing I'm gonna say, and if I'm trying to tell you this, yeah, to scare you a little bit, tell you to take it seriously. I used to talk to this female, and she had this crazy boyfriend. Crazy. But she ain't want to be with him. And me and her was just friends. So, we used to talk all the time. Somehow this dude got into her computer from his house. He didn't even come in the house. He got into her computer from his house and got my phone number. But I've been around crazy people all my life. So I knew he wasn't going to toss me around like he did her. I wasn't worrying about it. So he called me up and me and him had a gentleman-to-gentleman conversation. First off, she's just my friend. I'm not really into her like that. Second off, if that's how you feel, handle your business like a man. You ain't got no problems with me. Because that's the way it really was. And I told her that anyway. But how did he get my number? And he was crazy. He would get in the car and come. He would get in the car and come because he was crazy. He beat her father up. Her father tried to protect her. He beat her father up. This dude was a nut job. So a lot of times with these twin souls, like this guy that's out here stalking me now, Mr. Disliker, he dislikes every video. He's been doing it for over 7 months because he's a weirdo and a nut job. But he's another guy that would never, ever, ever approach me. He can only be an internet nerd. But those are psychopaths. And those are not the type of people you want around your kids. You have to be very careful. Just because it says twin flame, twin soul, it doesn't mean you just give all trust to the wind. But I'm telling everybody, it's commitment. It doesn't mean you're locked down. Because it tells you to communicate. No man should be locking a woman down. That's an insecure man. But a man should be respected just like she should be respected. Which means you have to have communications. You got to learn how to talk through difficulties. You've got to learn each other. Takes a while. That's why I said it can't be Speedy Gonzalez. Speedy Gonzalez, because you just don't want that. It's got to be commitment. So that's why Michael wants me to tell you the truth, and you have to make a decision. But you have been warned. So I'm telling you, you've been warned because I got a lot of my friends. Another one of my friends was murdered this week. The last email she sent was they're going to murder me. If you knew how many years I tried to tell her, get away from that stuff you're into, she was murdered. I got a lot of female friends that have been murdered because they don't listen. Girls just want to have fun. You guys don't want to think. But you have to learn how to think. That's why Mercury and Gemini are both thought. They're communication, but they're also thought. And Virgo is thought and healing. And then I had other female friends that have ended up in a crazy house. Because we live in a very volatile world. And some people can't take it. They're breaking down. Or they've been through something through growing up or something. So you do have to think. Don't have to be scared. I didn't say be scared. I said think. And that's what they're telling you. All right. It's funny how your very next question basically deals with what past life experience did I have with him. You talked about Lilith being in the retrograde in my chart, and that means I did something to hurt this twin. Like, what does that mean in a past life? So am I on trial in this one? So I did kind of explain that. And again, we have to understand Lilith is any feminine energy. Because believe it or not, I just got finished saying, that's what I'm talking about. The guy could be the feminine one. You might be the one who, you're cool. As long as I talk to him, I'm cool. But he might be the one I need to see you. I want to touch you. I want to be with you. And you're like, okay, I understand that, but I also have a career. And he's like, okay, I know you have a career, but can't you make some time? Can't you just call me? Sometimes it's the guy that be bitching out. But that's because y'all don't understand. A lot of times, like, men were women in the previous life. And now they're like they're men now. And then before, the women be more aggressive because the women might have been men in the previous life. We're talking about energy. We're talking about souls and stuff. So people don't understand that. So Lilith just represents the feminine energy. It could be the female, it could be the male, but yours is retrograde. But we already said the reason why, because you was running. You were going. And also you got past life money. And I think that's the only retrograde you had was Lilith, like you said. So that's what they're all trying to tell you. And Michael's trying to tell you. And Ariel's trying to tell you. Like, this is something you have to commit to. And I'm gonna be real with you. Like, I'm like a counselor on this aspect. Some people want me to be a counselor for other aspects, and I won't do it. Because you have to grow up and learn how to handle your life. That's just the way it is. You got to just start making decisions and taking risks. That's life. You can't have everybody answering your questions for your life. Just like there's a lot of parents that let their children run the house. How are you letting your child run your house and you're the parent? But for the natal chart, I will give this advice. If you're not, all Michael said, if you're not ready, then don't commit. Don't start acting like you're ready if you're not. Because we're trying to teach you what a twin soul relationship really is. Not this pop bubblegum stuff. You're not walking on the boardwalk with a big teddy bear. Ha ha. Let me get my palm read. Ah ha ha. I had such a great time. No. This is real life. This is karma. This is real life. This is your life purpose. It is serious, and it should scare you a little bit. It should scare everybody if you're not ready. This is not a joke. But it can be the most beautiful thing you've ever did if you're mature enough to deal with it. See, a lot of times you ladies y'all can melt men sometimes. And I've seen women do it, but sometimes I understand y'all get scared. Like, you might make your man, he might get mad about something, and maybe he's getting way too mad, and you're getting, like, too scared. But sometimes, really, he needs you, and y'all don't understand that part. You just, he's mad. Sometimes he just needs you to reaffirm that this is real. Like, I'm really with you. You don't have to worry about all that. I'm with you. You're with who I want to be with. And he'll calm the fuck down. It's a lot of men, they need that. I've been saying this for years, and now I see it in the natal charts. Like, they need the woman to sometimes be the mother. For whatever reason, it's some weird Sigmund Freud shit, but it's still true. Sometimes they need. I've been around thugs. The biggest song thugs sing was It's a Thin Line Between Love and Hate. Because it's about a man that thought he was a man, so he thought he could come home anytime he wanted to. And his girl, the woman he's with, sat up and waited for him the whole time. Just sitting there waiting for him. And they're singing. So he came in late, like 4 in the morning. He come in, and she just sitting there waiting. And she don't say nothing. And she said, oh, well, you know, it's almost morning time. It's almost 6 o'clock. You want me to cook you some breakfast? And he's like, yeah. Because he think he the man. I've been out, probably been with another woman. He think he the man. He going to come up in here now. She going to cook my dinner. And she going to do what because I'm the man up in here. She going to do what I tell her to. She ain't going to ask me nothing. So that woman cooked him his breakfast. They served him his breakfast and everything while he was sitting there on the table. And she washed that pan out, washed everything, dried everything off. And she took that pan and went upside that nigga's head. Took him to the floor. He ain't never come home at no 4 o'clock in the morning no more. So she had to be mama. She said, look, we in a relationship, and I'm not going to be putting up with your bull. But she ain't run. She ain't say, I'm going to get you back. She just taught him a lesson. If you're going to be with me, you're going to stop that. I'm not the one. And he respected. A man is about respect. So sometimes y'all do got to. My sister and her brother, my brother-in-law, they went through that same stuff. They put each other through hell. She started it. But they put each other through hell. Broke each other's heart. But they still love each other. You see them dance and they still look at each other like it's new. They look at each other flirting. And I'm looking at that and saying, wow, 13 years and they still flirt with each other. I couldn't believe it. So all I'm trying to do out here is teach people the truth about what this is really about. Now the angels are warning you that don't act like you're making a commitment that you ain't ready to make. And that's why the same Aries, it's all about Aries. Aries popping up all over the place because Aries is self-will and Aries is ambition, but it's self-will ambition. It's like I'll run over top of you to get what I want type of air energy. It's not necessarily bad energy though, but it'll be really bad if you have somebody that's needy and they're telling you that your twin soul is needy, which is not a bad thing. He's just an indigo. Like some people love love. Like, I could give a fuck about. I never cared about money ever. The only first time I started asking about money was when the archangels told me, "You give all the time, you never get back." I never. That's not something I really not. It's not top on my list, but to other people, it's everything. So each person is different, but you gotta learn. In twin flames, you gotta learn, and you gotta just talk. If you and that's how, but that's how it used to be in the good old days where the people used to talk. It wasn't about sex. That's the worst mistake you can make is jumping into bed too quick. All y'all gonna do is have sex. Y'all ain't gonna want to be together after that, and y'all gonna go right into separation, guaranteed. So like I said, 12 days. 12. She only been with her soulmate 12 days, and when she broke up with the dude, he started crying. And that's why, because he's probably an indigo or a sensitive child. And that's why she went back with him. But she already said she don't want to be with him. So really, you just got into that relationship just to have sex. You was hot, and you made up any excuse to have sex, and you did it. And now that you had sex, you ready to drop him and go to the next dude. So now she'll probably send me an email about another soulmate. Because I get a lot of emails like that too. Somebody have like 2 or 3, 4 or 5. And then they get mad at me because I don't know. How come you ain't say nothing about this one? Because you got so many, I don't know which one you talking about. I don't know. Why you mad at me? So now, I already explained the protocol. You asked what's the protocol for solar ascension. You get with your twin. You realize that that's supposed to be the most important. And hey, I know it's hard. And I feel for y'all females. I want y'all to know because I don't want to hear that. If I was a female, I wouldn't want somebody telling me, because y'all got away from that. That's how y'all was in the 50s. You know, you was with your man and that's just like that was your whole life. Just with your man. So I agree with y'all. But all I'm saying, slow down and learn how to communicate. You'd be surprised because a lot of times y'all ladies don't communicate. Y'all got rather tell them. Do it through email. But I'm saying really communicate. I'm not saying just write a note and then do what you want to. Communicate. Try to get some response. Because you got to understand, this is how I live my life. God is watching everything I do. So I can't just do a half-ass job. I can't just go part way because God is going to say no. I can't see your side of this matter. You didn't go all the way. So I always go all the way. And I'm trying to encourage more people to do it because then he can't really judge you if you went all the way. That's why if I go all the way, oh, he's crazy. She said he's stalking her. She said she's scared to walk to her car because of him. And she's lying. But everybody's believing her. Well, fuck it. Y'all not God. I'm going to take this to a higher situation. I'm going to put my trust in God. And that's what I did. Not only did I get all my money from that situation, I got my reputation intact, and I got blessed because I didn't focus on the physical. I focused on God. So I'm always going to do 100% regardless because it's God I answer to, not no damn human. Humans are liars and hypocrites. How's somebody going to judge you and they worse than you are? They worse than you ever been, but they trying to judge you, and you ain't even do nothing. I'm through with third dimensional bullshit. I'm dealing with God. So when you get to that point, you got God on your side because you didn't take no shortcuts. You wrote that letter. You said, okay, well, it's hard to talk to him face to face, but you still let him know. Say, I really do want to talk to you, but I don't want to argue. Can we talk? Can we talk without arguing? I just want to not argue. And that's why I said, well, women, it's just easier for y'all to just turn it up. But y'all, you gotta get a grip. This is different. This ain't third dimensional. This is higher, and this is gonna judge you. This is some sacred bond, or whatever they call it, sacred union. So you can't just do what you want to. Up until now, you've been in America, most of y'all, not all of y'all, but y'all been able to do whatever the fuck you dress the way you want to, say whatever you want to, and ain't nobody put you to test. But now you done met something bigger than you, bigger than America. This is a sacred union, and they expect you to do all you can. Like, if y'all really listen to me, it's usually the women. Sometimes they tell a man, but it's usually the woman they tell to nurture. Why? Because back in the day, that's how it used to be. You nurtured your husband. You nurtured your children. And that's how, I'm not saying right or wrong, but I'm just saying you used to be a nurturer. And then you let third dimensional thinking, which ain't fully your fault because men are jerks. Don't think I like men. I don't really like most of them. Some of them okay, but most of them are punks and little boys and they hurt women. That's why I'm single. Because women just assume I'm going to be like them. And I'm like, nah, you're not going to put me into that energy you on. You already angry and I just said hello to you. You know what I'm saying? I just held the door open for you and you already angry. I just asked to take you out and you already acting crazy. It ain't even the first date yet. I can't take that pain no more. Because I'm an indigo and I'm sensitive. I can't take that pain no more. I'd rather be single. I'd rather be with some fucking thugs. Because at least I can pick up a bat. At least I can get some revenge. I ain't got to sit here and be hurt and putting up with this bullshit. So you have to take it more seriously. Because that's where you're at. Anybody that's listening. It's not something you can jump into and jump out to. And if you do like she did, you wanted to be with your soulmate. You said he was a good man. And I told her. I told her. I said, it sounds like you playing games. I said, 1 minute you talking about your twin flame, then you talking about your soulmate. I said, and this is what I told her 12 days before it happened. I said, you're going to break your soulmate and you're going to make him hate women like the rest of these men do. Because you playing games with his emotions. I said, you just got finished telling me he's a good man, so why are you going to take him through your hell? I said that to her. 12 days later, she take him through the hell and break him. You see my point? So when I go stand before God, that's the least of my worries. Is him saying something to me about some female out here. No, dude. Look at the whole record. Don't even waste my time. And God knows I've been doing this for decades. I'm decorated. You heard? Decorated and respected. Now, will he put me to the test? Yes, he will. But when I stand before God, I'm not worrying about what somebody said. Just like when she was lying on me at the job. I didn't care what them people said because she was lying. I'm going to fight like I always do. And we'll see what happens. And I won on every stance. Every stance. And I only got blessed and blessed and blessed. So if you follow that advice, you'll be straight. See, don't worry about kundalini and bending over and having crazy animalistic sex. Because all that's going to do is put your ass right back in reincarnation. Welcome back to planet Earth. You got to learn on who the ball says, which is God, and what he said. And that's what I told you tonight. Now, as far as if you're not ready to commit, Michael said don't do it. Because you're going to attach yourself to this man. And what I'm seeing is he's a little hyper when it comes to love. And he's going to expect you to really be what you say you are. So if you was to start all that nurturing stuff that I told you to do, he's going to really feed on it. But I would say slow it down. Don't be too fast because y'all going to have to learn how to communicate. A lot of you women, y'all just never learned how to communicate. And y'all don't know how to speak for yourself. And when a man be getting crazy, a man shouldn't get that crazy that he gets violent. But a lot of times, he needs talk. He needs some type of confirmation from you. And if he ain't getting it, I don't know. It's just like y'all pick up shit and throw it. But if y'all do it, it's okay because you're a female. But if he pick up anything and throw it, they going to lock his ass up because he's a man. But what y'all not realizing, but he has a right to have emotions. That's what y'all not understanding. He should learn how to talk differently. But a lot of times y'all won't talk though. Like I used to not watch, but when my sister was alive, they would have on like Kardashians. And them women talk. I see why that man went crazy and shit. Because they treated him like garbage. They would do whatever they wanted. And if he tried to talk to him, they would just keep giving him attitude and giving him attitude and giving him attitude. No respect. Of course, somebody could go crazy. And that's why men go crazy. Because you got to stop that badass tough guy ain't got to answer to nobody. You're being deceived. And that started in the Garden of Eden. They told Eve, you can be like God. So then she started thinking she could be like God. She thought she could break all the rules and nobody was going to check her. And now a lot of people do that today. But this natal chart is totally different. It's telling you are held accountable. And you do. When I say commit, I don't mean go back and lock and chain because I wouldn't either. I don't blame y'all. Because you had a right to have a life. You shouldn't have had to stay home. I don't agree with that. And a man come home, he don't want to clean because he think I worked all day, you clean, you take care of the kids and all that stuff. That's just lazy. I can see I would have revolted too if I was a female. I'm not mad at y'all. But I just feel like y'all got to get a balance. Y'all got to get a balance where you say, okay, I am committed to you, but let's be realistic. But if you tell a man that and you stick with that, then he'll respect you more. Because with a man, it's all about respect. With a woman, it's all about love. And then if you do find yourself slipping, just be humble. Try to be humble with him. You know what I'm saying? And if he ever did get crazy, nip it in the bud. Nip it before it even start. Even if he getting a little too loud, or you say you can't be getting loud like that because it's scaring me. And I will call the police on that ass. You know what I'm saying? He got to know. Because that's why I said that's like that lady that knocked that man upside the head in that song. He's got to know his boundaries. So it can still work, but you got to commit. That's what I mean by commit. I don't mean like, I would never. All you women listening, you ain't never heard me say go back to being what they did to y'all in the 50s and shit. You know, some of y'all got me twisted. He hate. No, I don't hate. I just tell the truth. Don't nobody hate nothing. I just tell the truth. If a dude is wrong, I'm gonna say he wrong. If a female wrong, I'm gonna say she wrong. That's it. But I ain't never say one is better than the other, none of that. Or if I say that, that was way back when I was still in a lot of pain and shit. Now I see things differently. I'm a little bit more mature. So you asking about past life? All I can tell you is to get your past life report, and you can get that for free. I already gave you the link, so you can check that out. And I already told you about solar ascension. If you want to solar ascend and never lunar reincarnate or moon reincarnate, you have to kind of like, that has to be your twin has got to become your priority. And also that means you have to deal with some of that. That's like, you got to try it at least. You got to try to deal with, like, if your twin has faults or whatever, just like any other relationship, you got to try to work through it. But if he's crazy, then you ain't got to stay, because it was nothing you can do. Like, my twin gave me nothing, and God knows it. I'm still hurt to this day. It's obviously I had feelings for the female. Everybody know that. But she was that wicked. Like, for real. She was that weird, and she was that wicked. So I did all I could do. So I don't have a bad conscience. And I'm a Leo. I'm already down with the sun. And my ruler is the Messiah. My ruler is Michael. And I'm also down with Gabriel. So I'm not really worried about it. I did all I could do. Now, if that woman comes back, it'll be my obligation, my universal obligation, to be as humble as I can to try to talk to her yet again. But the way I see it, she would have to really grow up. Like, I'm talking years. Like 10, 15, 20 or more years. Like, me and her might end up together, like, old and shit. Like, we be old ass people and shit. Like, I'll be somewhere, we'll be at like a senior citizen get together, and either I'll see her or she'll see me, and we'll probably just start talking. Like, none of that other shit happened. We'll probably just start talking, and then we'll probably be with each other. That's how I see it. Because that's how Aries is. That's how that aggressive energy is. That scorpion sexual energy is. That animalistic primordial energy is. Because Mars used to rule Scorpio, but now Mars rules Aries, and Pluto rules Scorpio. So when you have a person with them type of things, it's hard. Like that last lady that had messed up her health because of past life stuff, she had a lot of scorpion energy in that. Just wanted to party, off the hook. So that's solar ascension. You're going to commit. But now I'm just telling you, you just have to be careful. And you got to get communication going. You got to learn how to talk. Could be eye-to-eye contact, telephone, email. However you feel comfortable doing it. And try to help him understand that this is how I really want to communicate with you, but this is how I feel comfortable. And hopefully he'll respect that. So you're asking why they have all these planets in your Aries. Well, I'm still telling you, you have a mission. Your mission is to liberate. And I believe it's primarily your people. You're like a modern day Esther. Now, I don't know how you're going to do it, but you are some type of liberator. I've always said that. So this is what I'm going to do. Uranus, all of this is in your first house. Your ascendant and east point, all that is eastern energy, like the sun energy. And I think the sun is in your first house too. So you're this hardworking Capricorn, but you're also connected to the other side. Because Capricorn can be the devil and his sun can be Jesus, whether you know that or not. So don't get mad, but Christians would say, oh, we want you to bring your people to Christianity. And that could be the mission. Because I remember when I first did that, I talked about Pastor Saeed Ahmadedi. And he's an Iranian, but he's a Christian. I'm not saying right or wrong. All I'm saying is what I see in the chart. So Uranus can mean freedom from bondage, independent. Whereas Saturn can be the judge. Saturn can be the person that says, no, you have to stick to these rules. You have to stick to these standards. The sun is all about freedom, freeing you from the darkness, enlightening you. And he represents the Messiah, the real deliverer. Venus is love and freedom. And that's why I said the book of Esther. That's what she represented, Venus, because she loved her people so much that she helped get them liberated. Now you remember Neptune has the crown, like the king, but that's the book of Esther. Neptune represents dreams and subconscious and making Pisces a psychic and stuff, but that's the king with that crown. Because Esther, yeah, Esther went before what? The kingdom or the government and said, free my people, right? And you got Saturn and the crown or Neptune. Again, the government, liberation. Mercury means you're a great communicator. And I'm going to say, not only will you be a great communicator to those people who you're trying to liberate and their oppressors, because communication is also writing and however you do it. Like you got Syrian Girl. Syrian Girl has her own web channel, and she's helping for the liberation of what's going on over there. She's helped telling the world what's really going on over there in Syria. So you'll be a great communicator. So we went over just about everything. And I believe your true north node is in your second house. And Vesta is just a lot of energy. Vesta is in your first house, a lot of energy. If she did, let me see. Okay, so Vesta and the true north node is in your second house, it looks like. Yep. So it's not even in your first house. But either way, you got a lot of energy in your first house. So your challenge is to balance out your relationship with your soulmate, your twin soul, and also to stay on your mission of liberating your people through knowledge. Oh, and I couldn't even see it. And your Mercury is retrograde. But because of the contents, it's not just past life communication. It's the past of your people. So you might already know your history. I don't know if you even know your history, because a lot of young people don't even know the history. But I think you do. So because you can know the history to help. You can use the past history to help make the present better. Because we're entering a new time, and a time of enlightenment, and there's going to be a lot of people changing. You can already see our government has already changed. It's already drastically changed. I mean, as soon as that man takes office, the changes you're going to see in the next 2 months after that, and after that, are going to be incredible. You're going to be huge. That was my Donald Trump impression. So that's what's up. I think I've told you all you can do. So I hope I didn't rush. How dare you? No, I'm just joking. I wasn't offended. That shit made me laugh. I said, look who's talking. Speedy Gonzalez said, I rushed. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? What? All right. Now, I'm just seeing if I answered all your questions. So you can do your own past soul thing, because if I do it, I got to charge you something. Maybe not a lot, but I got to charge you something if I do it. But it's just your whole report. You put the information in, and they give you your report. So I gave you how to go. So you can do it for free. It only take like a couple of minutes to put it in. All right. So that's it. So that's. I'll be back in a second. Alrighty, so I just want to remind everybody, it's nothing to be worried about, nothing extreme. Even that one card he did, I don't really understand it, but that's why you get updates whenever you feel you want to get updates, or you can go ask somebody else. But he just, I guess he just felt the need to throw that out there, because that card about your safety came right after he told you can't play games. Like you can't, and I think you kind of did that in the last life. I already said that. You kind of, and I said that. Go back to the first video, and I said the poor guy, you were running all over the place. And I said, but you can't do that in this life. And then Michael just backed it up. You can't, because that can. I mean, you guys gotta understand one thing. And you might not like what I'm about to say, but in the old days, under the law, like a person could be stoned to death. You can't just do what you want to. Like this country has people thinking you can say whatever you want and do whatever you want, and there's no consequences. But there's always going to be consequences. So you can't play with people's heart. You can't just do anything you want to. It does matter. You can't go. That was one of the laws of Mayat. You can't break a woman's heart. You can't break a person's heart. Another law, God says in the Bible that if a man mistreats his wife, God will not hear his prayers. So there's certain things you can't do. So Michael was just telling you don't have to commit till you want to, really, till you feel like you want to. And you got to really watch. And like me, I mean, it's hard because everybody wants to have sex. But you have to understand, when you have sex with a person, you're making a kind of covenant and a contract with a person, and that'll make some people want you more. But you might be like, well, I do like them, but it was just sex. Like, I don't like them that much. And if it is your twin and your twin is telepathic, that could really hurt your twin a little bit, or could push them back because they thought it was going to be a special moment, but you thought, not like that. I got other things I want to do. So that could hurt your twin. And also, it can make people more needy for you. And you're like, whoa, this guy's they're moving way too fast. Or it could make a person feel like they already got the sex, so they don't really, I don't really need this person, because that's what just happened after 12 days. She don't even want to be with the guy, and she only used the guy to have sex, and I warned her not to do it, and she still did it. Why? Because she let her body take over. And she doesn't seem like she's a bad person, but that's what happens. You let that sexual heat take over, and you'll lie to yourself. Oh, this is gonna work. I can feel it. But all you really want to feel is that, you know what? And then after you feel it, it's like, oh, but he seems too nice. Because Nice guys really finish last with you ladies, and that's sad. That's sad that you've let this world make your heart so cold that a guy has got to be some type of mean guy, thug guy, a guy that doesn't really treat you the right way, or a guy that'll put you in your place real quick. Or you'll give him that loyalty. But the guy that's talking about, let's get together, let's have family, let's build, let's get property, let's be together, you're like, oh, hell no. This guy's too serious, too quick. So we can't win in that area with you ladies. That's just the way it is. But anyway, I'm out here to tell it like it is, to try to help you guys, because it's more serious. Because again, you see the universe is now speaking to every last one of you, and the universe is not joking. So you do have to grow up a little bit. And when you make a mistake, guess what? None of us are perfect. When you make a mistake, just realize it. Can't you go back to the person? That's something that a lot of you guys don't do. Just let the person know you made a mistake. Tell them, leave a message on their machine, send them an email. Let them know I made a mistake. I'm not perfect. I'm so sorry, but I'm not perfect, and I just need to talk to you. And be serious. Like, if they don't pick up, just keep, a couple of times. More than a couple of times. Don't give up. They just need to, just like you need to be confirmed that this is real, so does a guy. Stop thinking a man doesn't have emotions. He has emotions just like you do. So you got to learn how to communicate. This is not about making anybody feel pressured. This is about just saying you got to start changing your way of thinking, and gradually you're going to see success if you follow it. But if you stay in that third dimensional that you've been for all these decades, that's the one thing I can guarantee. You will be reincarnating. I can't guarantee anything else, but I can guarantee you will be reincarnating through the moon back to Earth. You will not be ascending to that solar ascension if you don't get that love that's higher than third dimensional. And that's what Jesus tried to tell his disciples. You have to have a higher love than the love you see on this planet. It has to be a higher love, and that's the type of love where you realize I owe this person something. Like, this is my twin soul. It's a sacred union. I owe this person. It's not I owe them my best attempt. Whether they keep shooting me down or not. And I did it, and it hurt. It hurt a lot, but I did it. Never retaliated, never got payback. There were times I could have made her jealous. It was a whole lot of kind of stuff. I could have just started playing that game, and I never did. And I still care about my twin. But I realized it's a sacred union, so, whatever. She deserved that much, even if she didn't really understand what was going on. And who knows? Maybe that'll help me in the future with her. Who the hell knows? I don't know. But she can't say I ever did anything to her. That was the last thing I said to her. I never did anything to you. So I don't know what all that animosity is. I don't know why. So that's what's up. This was a good video to get a lot of information out. And again, so everybody's got to make their own decision and grow gradually. And there's not too much more advice I can give on that. Each person's going to grow on their way. But the main thing is, if you're growing towards it, then you're doing good. Because it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be something that happens overnight. But I strongly encourage you, stop seeing everything sex, You're allowing third dimensional programming, TV and movies and videos and YouTube and social media. You're allowing that evil that's there, that evil energy, to make you into something. And that sex energy is very dangerous. And if you really want to be honest about it, a lot of good doesn't come out of it. You got a whole lot of kids don't know who daddy is and never see daddy. You got a whole lot of people that can't pay their bills. They got to get extra help to pay their bills. There's a whole lot of diseases. A lot of people are dead early because of it. A lot doesn't come out of it, but we've been trained to overlook all that. We've been trained to be selfish. And then when we get hit with the twin soul, we're used to being selfish, and we think we can continue to be selfish, but you can't. The twin soul is going to break you. Break you. That's why it's designed to break you out of third dimensional thinking, to break you. And it's going to be painful. So we can't run away from it. We can't keep hating our twin. We can't go negative. We have to realize, why is this happening, and what do I need to do to help to heal, to help get the healing. For me, it's to stay busy like I've always done. For me, it's to let the past go. For me, it's to let myself know regularly, if you do happen to see your twin, just don't provoke. Try your best, whatever, not to provoke. And act accordingly. If she looks like she wants to talk, try to talk to her. If she's still acting weird, then leave her alone, because she's still not ready. Let go and let God and move on. And I'll date anytime I want to. Because me personally, I'm not caught up on third dimensional. This stuff doesn't scare me. It doesn't shock me. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. So nothing is so uncertain that I'm gonna worry about it. If I saw love, if I saw something that seemed worth it, I would pursue it. But I'm not into no badass slick talking broads. I'm not into you're trying to do the right thing, take them out, and they still talking crappy. You're paying for everything, they still talking crazy. That'll never happen again. Now, I mean, I would never be who I used to be, but I damn sure I'm a little different than I used to. I always just sit there, because I was just sick of arguing with broads. I used to argue with y'all all the time. Now I just sit there, just never take you out on another date. But now I would definitely come back, but not to argue, with just say a couple of things. I'm real witty with mine. Say a couple of words and make a big ass point. You understand? So it'll never be that way again. Never, never, never will I be mistreated like that again. Trying to do the right thing and treat her like a bum. Never again. So maybe one day I'll get somebody that appreciates a good man, and then I'll move on. Because I can't make the twin flame thing happen. That'll happen because the universe said it'll happen. So I can't worry about that. And last time I saw, I wasn't even supposed to be nowhere near her, because she didn't feel safe. She was scared to walk to her car because of little old me. But she forgot to tell everybody how many times she followed me to the back room. You didn't tell them about that part. You didn't tell them how many times you followed me through the building. You didn't tell them how you followed me on the parking lot. How you kept staring at me, put the eye lock on me. That's a real twin flame indicator, them eyes. You didn't tell them all that. But you just told them shit that made me look like the weirdo. Okay, you got that one. But then it was money in the bank for me when I took that shit to higher, wherever I took it. We found no evidence that the man did anything wrong. Because he didn't do anything wrong. That's why you didn't find no evidence. This is Gat. It's all like that. Take it light. Nothing to be too serious about. But everybody got to grow up a little bit. That's what God told me for 2017. Everybody, including me, has to grow up a little bit, because he's about to start making some drastic changes. And all that junior high school activity, sleeping with that person, sleeping with this person, not taking no accountability for your actions. He's going to start to address that. So grow up a little bit and really understand what a twin flame journey is. Because I try to teach y'all what it really is. And I hope y'all continue to learn. God bless.